There's so many. Has anyone been to them all?
Not likely.
I want to be the first one to see them all.
Truly wonderful the mind of a child is.
Come on.
When you find people who need your help, you help them. No matter what.
We have hope. Hope that things can get better. And they will.
Stand up together. Because that's when we're strongest. As one.
You won't be going alone. You'll have a friend with you.
No. I'll have a Jedi with me.
You might wanna buckle up, baby.
Rise
in the Force.
Take care of this little one.
It'll take care of you. We had each other. That's how we won.
Force is strong in my family.
Its energy surrounds us and binds us.
What is it they've sent us?
Hope.
Hello there. Greetings and salutations. Welcome to May the 4th be with you. Happy Star Wars Day to all of you out there in the galaxy or galaxies far, far away. My name is Ryan of And I Quote Channel. We are here to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, directed by, well, who else? George Lucas himself, who gave us everything that you see before you today when it comes to Star Wars materials. I am not alone going back into this galaxy far, far away. We are joined by an esteemed panel of excellent guests. Please welcome my co-pilot and someone who's very good at putting together backgrounds, thumbnails, etc., etc., etc. And he's not going to let a little bit of something keep him from being here. Case is in the building. Case, welcome in, sir. How are you?
Hello. Yeah, I'm not feeling 100%. My throat is not too great. But, you know, the thing is that today, all I've been doing is watching Star Wars, and I feel like it's been healing me. I feel just a little bit better watching Star Wars, and I'm here to watch another Star Wars movie. Very excited to watch it with you guys, and probably make it a quote along, let's be fair.
Make it a quote along. Goodness gracious. That'll keep Adina up at night. Speaking of which, please welcome our esteemed friend and colleague and a big proponent of STEM, all things sci-fi, all things Star Wars, all things droids, robots, all that kind of stuff. New York Times best-selling author Adina Mignona is here. Hello, Adina. Welcome in. How are you?
Thank you. Someday I'll be a New York Times best-selling author, but I brought my friends with me tonight. I have friends. So we're all going to be here watching.
That is a beautiful thing, and we thank you for inviting your friends to join us on this incredible ride. Also, joining us on this panel, please welcome the host of the Rocking Your Bald podcast, which just dropped a hugely successful and celebratory episode of something known as Star Wars Day. Jen is here. Welcome back, Jen. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. Happy May the 4th to everyone. This is exciting.
It is. This is very exciting. And pretty soon, in a few moments here, this is where the fun begins. The Nerdy Entrepreneur is here. He says, I am here. Well, guess what, Nerdy Entrepreneur? We're glad you're here because this is going to be a lot of fun talking about all things Star Wars, talking about Star Wars The Phantom Menace, which will start here momentarily. We will push the magical button known as play here in a few moments. Now, if you want to watch the movie along with us, you can do so on physical media or streaming service. We're going to cue it up to the 2-second mark, but don't hit the play button just yet. Going to give you a chance to get to know these panelists just a little bit better before we begin our feature presentation. Case, what was it like for you seeing this movie 25 years ago, even though you probably weren't there to see it in 1999?
No, in 1999, I was like 5 years old, so that was definitely a little bit too early for me to go see this in the theater. I had probably only just watched my first ever movie in the theater with Mulan in 1998. I wasn't a Star Wars fan until years later, until just before Revenge of the Sith came out. So I didn't watch any of the Star Wars movies until the Clone Wars movie, actually, in the theater. But I watched all of them. I don't exactly remember in which order. I just remember when I saw The Phantom Menace for the first time, I enjoyed it, and I still enjoy it. It's not perfect, and we're probably going to get into that a little bit today. But I really enjoy the Podrace. I think the score is great. And they're like, if you want a complete breakdown about how terrible this movie is, look up the Red Letter Media review. It's very extensive. We're not going to go into that today. There are a lot of issues addressed in that review that I'm like, why do you have an issue with this? I personally don't have issues, for example, with Jar Jar, that kind of stuff. So I found this movie perfectly enjoyable, and it's Star Wars. So, like, yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's like that meme that's been going around the internet the last few years of our good friend Galen Erso in the fields. More, you like all of Star Wars, really? It's a peaceful life. So, that works, right? What about you, Jen? What was it like for you seeing this movie way back when in '99, if you did in fact see it in theaters?
Oh, of course I did. It was a special treat for me because my mother and I, we are big Star Wars fans. And I remember growing up hearing the stories from my family, from my cousins, aunts, and uncles about going to see these the original films when they came out, and just sharing the memories. And my cousin Freddie's favorite memory is when my mother, his aunt, took him to go see Empire Strikes Back when it came out. So that's a big moment for him. So when the prequels came out, my mother was so excited she finally gets to take her kid to go see Star Wars. And we went opening weekend, and man, seeing Star Wars in a movie theater with John Williams' score, opening credits, there is just nothing like that.
She's got a point there. She's got a point. 10 points for Gryffindor. Anyway, sorry, wrong franchise. But
Hufflepuff.
sorry. I took the quiz online years ago. I turned out to be Gryffindor. What a surprise! I'm a goody two shoes. I'm a Boy Scout. Sue me. Wrong franchise, wrong night. Adina, my good friend Adina, the New York Times bestselling writer, or at least future New York Times bestselling writer. Sorry, let me be perfectly clear. Outside of me mixing up the words there, what was your experience like seeing this back in the theater in 1999 for Phantom Menace? Any memories there?
Oh yeah, well, sort of. So I was a few years out of college. I was 25 when that came out, and I'm pretty certain I saw the midnight showing, because this was like when it was before I had kids. It was before I was married, so I could do things like that and actually stay up late. I remember generally enjoying it. Of course, we were really just thrilled that there was a Star Wars movie, and we had just gotten off of seeing the remastered, original ones in the theater. And I had seen, like, I was 8 when Return of the Jedi came out, and I'd seen that one in the theater. And I remember, we were coming out of that where we were nervous because of the things that kind of got added and stuff. It's like, why are people changing things? So it already kind of set up like what's going on here. But that said, I remember enjoying the movie. I never had a problem with Jar Jar. It was clear.
Neither did
that.
I.
Yeah, it was just clear that character wasn't really intended for a 25-year-old. It was intended for, had I been that 8-year-old in the theater. But so it just didn't bother me. I would say the only thing that I left the theater and was kind of like about was, I did not need midichlorians. Didn't need any explanation for, it's okay for the Force just to exist without a technical, like a backfilled technical explanation. But you also have to remember that after Return of the Jedi came out, for the longest time, it was like, that is it. This is a trilogy, a 3-movie thing. We're done. We will watch these over and over. We will love these over and over and over. And for the longest time, it was not like, is there going to, I don't feel like there was any kind of question about, is there going to be more? It's like, this is a 3-movie trilogy and we're done. So it was really just interesting that this was the start of opening up such like a wider universe there. Yeah. And I'm so excited to watch it again. It's been a while.
It has
Not
been a while,
25
hasn't
years,
it?
but it's been a while. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while. My goodness gracious. And thank you all for sharing that with us. For me, yeah, I remember seeing the Star Wars Trilogy Special Edition back in '97. I remember my dad pulling up in his car. By the way, Dad, I love you and I miss you. Rest in peace, good sir. He pulls up in his van. He says, "Hey, you better get home. We're leaving soon." I'm like, "Why?" And then he says, "I am your father." I'm like, "Oh my God, we're going to see Star Wars!" So I was like freaking out. I was like, "Oh my gosh, we're going to see Star Wars on the big screen. This is exciting." So we went and saw the trilogy remastered, THX, the whole special edition version, and then '99 rolls around, and It's a brand new Star Wars movie, and I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be interesting. New Star Wars movie in '99 to end, right as we're going into a few years away from the new millennium. Goodness gracious, what could possibly happen? So we went there. We saw the movie in the theater. For those of you who live in the greater Maryland, Baltimore area, there's a theater called the Senator Theater. My family took me there. It was great. It's a historic movie house. We saw it, biggest screen you can imagine. We watched it. We enjoyed the living heck out of it. Duel of Fates is one of the best pieces of music that ever existed. Darth Maul is a terrifying, horrifying, devilish villain that should have stayed in that trilogy rather than just one movie. But then again, he got his redemption later on in an animated series known as the Clone Wars. So
and Rebels,
et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then he's got books, he's got comic books, he's got merch. Plenty of Darth Maul merch. Ray Park, good job, good sir. So with that being said, I remember enjoying this movie. I remember really, really liking it. And Qui-Gon Jinn, have a whole new amount of respect for that guy, which we'll talk more about as we go throughout the course of this feature presentation. Qui-Gon Jinn for president. Love you, Liam Neeson. You're a boss. Anyway, talk more about that later. I'm wearing my Qui-Gon Jinn shirt, okay? I got respect for the man. So with that being said, thank you, all of you, for sharing your stories. So without any further ado, we're going to begin our feature presentation here. And once again, this is going to be at the 2-second mark for those of you wondering, where are they starting the movie? I don't know. That's where we're going to be starting the movie. If you want to share your favorite memories, your fun facts, favorite things about Star Wars, favorite books, comic books. I hear comic books are really cool. Plus, it's free comic book day. It's free comic book day. Not only is it Star Wars Day, it's free comic day. So plenty of things to celebrate. So without any further ado, let's begin our feature presentation in 3, 2, 1, hit play. I almost forgot to turn my volume down. Goodness gracious. I almost made a faux pas back there in the studio.
This is something that I do miss with the new movies. No 20th Century Fox.
The Fox Fanfare, as it's known. Yeah. Oh, by the way, more people are here. And by the way, thank you all for being here in the chat. Deja Marie, our good friend Deja Marie, says, hello, Ryan. Good to see you too, Deja Marie. Apparently, there's 2 versions of Jen. She's saying hello to everybody. Boy, there's 2 of you. That's interesting. Brian Thomas Donahue, a good friend of ours, and he's one of the co-hosts of the Big Sci-Fi Podcast, if I'm saying that right. Please tune in for that. That's a great podcast. Adina, you know a thing or two about that podcast.
I know a thing or two because, that's so Brian is my co-host. Brian, Steve, Chris, and me. We are the 4 co-hosts of the Big Sci-Fi Podcast, where we talk about Star Trek, Star Wars, and everything else in the science fiction universe. Everyone should listen.
It's a great podcast. Congratulations on that, by the way. You just surpassed 100 episodes, if I'm not mistaken.
We did. And anyone and everyone, if you're going to be on Long Island at the end of May, come see us at Trek Long Island. We will all be there doing all kinds of stuff, including hosting Trek Trivia that Saturday evening.
Wow. See, it's okay to talk about other properties and still enjoy both of them at the same time. It's fine.
You can love it all.
I can.
Speaking of loving things, I don't love this opening crawl.
You don't like the opening crawl of Phantom Menace?
No.
Why don't you like the opening crawl?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not opening crawls in general, but this one.
Yeah,
the one for the Phantom Menace.
Why don't you like the Phantom Menace opening crawl?
Because the writing is just...
we could do a separate episode talking about how bad the writing was.
The writing is wonky.
Well, the original ones were simpler.
Better. Yeah.
Because you came into it knowing nothing. The expectation is people already saw all 3, episode 4, 5, 6 coming into this.
That's for the Supreme Chancellor wished to board immediately.
Yeah.
Of course. As you
know,
our path is perfectly legal. And we'd be happy to receive the ambassadors.
But goodness gracious, man.
Yes, we have started, by the way.
Yeah, we have started the feature presentation in case anyone was wondering. The Nerdy Entrepreneur says it is, and plenty of Star Wars comic books to be had. Yes, there are plenty of Star Wars comic books. I believe, the High Republic has a series going on right now. High Republic. What else has a series? Is it just High Republic, or are they doing Bounty Hunters again? Probably Bounty Hunters.
Well, the High Republic is a series going on.
Yeah.
And there's a different comic book series for different characters. I mean, they started doing, I think it was either Obi-Wan or Qui-Gon that was getting a comic book series, I believe.
Wow. If Qui-Gon's getting his own comic book series, let me know. I'll read that. I like Qui-Gon, personally. The Nerdy Entrepreneur says, Stevie, my cat, says meow.
Ryan, that's Lauren.
Is that who that is?
That's Lauren.
Okay. Lauren, good to see you. Welcome in. Thank you for being with us. Thanks for identifying that individual. Fantastic. Good to have you here, Lauren. Hope everything's well in your neck of the woods, and I hope you're enjoying this feature presentation of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Such a the future.
We actually, went to go see the Phantom Menace today and got to see that little sneak preview of Acolyte.
Oh, the Acolyte.
Oh,
yeah, that's coming up soon, isn't it? Isn't that June 4th?
June 4th.
Yeah, 1 month.
And they dropped an official trailer today for May the 4th, and that trailer looks like a boss.
Dude, that trailer was dark. That trailer was awesome. I think it looks really good, personally. I'm excited for the Acolyte. You excited for the Acolyte, Adina?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, comes out June 4th, in case you want to write that down in your Star Warsian calendar on your phone.
But today, Tales of the Empire dropped.
Oh, it did?
And I've seen the first 2 episodes.
How was it?
I cannot wait to watch the rest of it because it's great. The
first 2 were good?
Great. Yes.
First 2 were good. Okay, because I haven't seen it yet, so I'm...
Get on it. Because honestly, they're extremely short. They're like 10 minutes.
Oh, that's it? Jeez. That's quick.
Every episode, so it's like an hour to watch all of it.
Nice.
And they fill in certain gaps, which I thought was really well done.
That sounds like a great idea. I'm going to have to do that sometime this week. I actually have some time on Monday I can fit that in case, and then I'll text you and let you know how it was. I could text all 3 of you. We could hey, Adina, Tales of the Empire was great. Or, Jen, Tales of the Empire made me sad. Why?
I think it's a great template for Star Wars with the success of Tales of the Jedi. Now we have Tales of the Empire. I mean, you can do so much with this template. You could do Tales of Jabba's Palace, Tales of the Mandalorian, like
bounty hunters.
Exactly. I mean,
can we do a bounty hunter show, please? Like nothing that has nothing to do with Boba Fett, but just bounty hunters in general.
I mean, like I think if they keep playing their cards right with everything, this can really be a nice way to unpack other stories within stories we already have, like what they're doing, basically.
I'd be up for that, by the way. If they ever did a bounty hunter series, count me in. Sorry, I have a dark side. I want to embrace the bounty hunter side of things. I'm sorry. But anyway, by the way, how do we feel about these droids just saying the same thing over and over again, which in this case is Roger, Roger? How do we feel about that?
Great.
I think it's fine. I love it.
You okay with that, Adina, when it comes to robots just saying the same thing over and over again?
Well, they are robots, and there's different levels of sophistication of them. So I'm okay. I'm okay that they, within the whole franchise, they have that different level of sophistication. So I'm okay.
Well, yeah, to your point, what this shows is that all the droids are meant to do different things. They're not going to have the same software, if you will, as far as intellect components, because they are meant to serve a specific purpose.
I will say, though, I prefer the battle droids in this movie compared to Revenge of the Sith and Clone Wars, because in Revenge of the Sith and Clone Wars, they got personalities, they got sarcasm, and I didn't care for that.
Wow.
Personally.
Okay. That's it. Okay. That's a fair point. Let's see. Nerdy Entrepreneur Lauren says, I watched Tales of the Empire earlier today. It's a nice format that they got going. Okay.
Yay.
Fantastic. Look forward to watching that series when I get a chance. I'm a little tied up with things. Plus, I'm going to be rubbing elbows with all the veterans of the Star Wars galaxy far, far away tomorrow at Fan Expo Philadelphia, which I wish Jen was going to be present and accounted for.
Sorry.
Okay, you got bigger fish to fry. It's all right. We love you.
Well, I have a reason for not going.
You're going to be missed, though. We're going to miss you a lot in Philadelphia tomorrow.
No, you're good. I was actually able to acquire tickets to Celebration.
These are my favorite droids.
Wow. Jen,
that's why I can't come.
That's why you can't come. All right. So you're going to Japan next year?
I'm going to Japan, people.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'll be living vicariously through you when you go to Celebration, because there's no way I'm flying over to Japan. I'm sorry. That's not happening. Too expensive for my taste.
You know, this does remind me of how back in the day I did have a big crush on Liam Neeson.
Oh, Liam Neeson.
Yeah, Liam Neeson.
Okay.
Yes. How can you not?
I mean, look at that facial hair and that beard, that hair,
I mean, I remember watching Rob Roy many times.
Mm-hmm,
He was in Rob Roy, right?
I believe he was.
Yeah, there are a few things that I enjoyed seeing him in.
Does that also include what's the other one? Is it Schindler's List?
Well, yes and no. I mean, that was a great movie.
Not a great movie to watch once.
But it's very depressing. It's very depressing.
Yes.
Anyone else notice that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, just a little bit.
I love Padme Amidala. She is one of my favorite characters.
There's a lot of images going around of her today. Actually, Natalie Portman took to her Instagram account to say, hey, it's been 25 years since the little film Phantom Menace came out. Thank you, everybody, for sticking around with us for 25 plus years of that movie.
Yay,
She hasn't aged. I don't think she's aged a minute.
No, Natalie Portman hasn't aged a day either, right? No.
None of them.
None of them, really.
Hayden, what water do they drink?
I'm curious what water Hayden drinks, because he doesn't look like he's aged hardly at all since Revenge of the Sith.
No.
Which was back in 2005, for those of you keeping score at home. Let's see here. Brian says, these droids are not scary, though the heads are very weird. All right, Brian, we got you. And then he says, by the way, I'm watching this and making dinner for my children.
By the way, I never thought that the battle droids were necessarily that scary, but just the fact that there are so many of them, that's the scary thing, because you kill 100 and 1,000 more come.
Their heads might seem weird, but I'm going to make a case for there might be some logic, because if they're looking straight on, there's a low, like a low surface area to get hit. Because if they were like this or bigger, then there's more surface area to get hit. This way, they get a lot of whatever they need, electronics, but like it's kind of
they're very slender in their design.
Man, I like seeing this again right now. I loved that they went on location for certain scenes and what it just does for the scene and the ambiance of everything. I'm really loving this right now.
I like the costumes. Some really good costumes here.
One thing that the Nostalgia Critic pointed out in a video that he did was this movie, for the first time, did a lot of world building through CGI.
Yep.
And that, I think, does hold up very well.
No, it does, because I'm watching it right now, and I haven't seen this for a while myself, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, this all looks really good.
Yes.
Believe me, when we get to Jar Jar and Watto, it's going to look wonky. But we'll get
Speaking of which, we're approaching that moment.
We are.
We're getting there. We're getting close. I mean, they just landed their ships on the planet here, planet's surface, I believe, of Naboo, if I'm not mistaken. So, and here come all the tanks. Yeah.
Going back to Qui-Gon for a moment, I was really happy to see that we got a little bit more in Tales of the Jedi when they did Dooku's story.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And unpack that in a way. So I would, for me personally, I would love to see a Tales of Qui-Gon Jinn. Like with that template, like even if it's not like Tales of Qui-Gon Jinn, but like what they did with Dooku within Tales of the Jedi, like doing 3 episodes that are dedicated to him and Obi-Wan.
Who would play a young Qui-Gon?
Ooh, that's a heavy question.
Well, in the case of Tales of the Jedi, it's animated.
Well, okay, so
yeah, but who would voice them though?
Well, whoever the voice actor was for Tales of the Jedi, I thought they did a pretty good job.
I think it was Liam Neeson, actually.
Was it
Liam?
I think it was.
If it was, just bring him back. He can do it.
Yeah. I don't know. Somehow I'm just not picturing it animated in my head for whatever reason.
No, it's okay. But if it is in fact
probably
animated,
because I'm looking at Liam right here and I'm just seeing him and that's all I want to see.
Adina's distracted by her Hollywood crush right now, so
Oh, actually, it was his son. His son voiced.
Liam young Qui-Gon?
Yeah.
Oh, get him back then. Bring him back. He can do it. You take after your father. Let him do it. More did you speak? Good Lord. So here comes a new character called Jar Jar Binks. I wonder if that's going to cause any controversy on the internet. Yeah, it does.
It's the thing, like, I had watched this movie so many times, and then years later, I finally hear reviews and people saying, "Oh my God, I hate Jar Jar," and I'm like, "What's your problem? I don't get it."
I've been banished.
I have no issue with this character.
I've been banished. Why forgotten?
Well, no, like I was actually doing another podcast discussion today on this movie, and we were talking about Jar Jar, and one of the things I brought up was I think with Star Wars sometimes, and depending on the story you're wanting to tell, like finding that balance to find an entry point for kids, especially at this time.
Oh yeah.
Compared to now, trying to find something that kids will grab onto, link to, but then, still not lose all of us, the adult audience at the same time. So back then versus now, that in a way, I think it was uncharted territory because it's like, I want to get a new generation in. How do I do that? So let me try this and see if it works.
Yeah. Throw in a new character. There are plenty of new characters here, but that's beside the point.
I feel like there are people who were, so I watched Return of the Jedi in the theater when I was 8.
Oh wow!
But I feel like later on, I did find out that other adults did not like the Ewoks. I loved Ewoks. I actually
I
had to
love
Ewoks with them.
Ewoks. How
Right.
can you not love Ewoks?
Well, that's what I'm saying. And like, I'm wondering if, again, it's a similar reason to why some adults reacted badly to Jar Jar.
Well,
This character is not for you. This character is for the
I do
kids.
think-
Ewoks are for the kids.
I do think in the case of Return of the Jedi, a lot of people were apparently aware of the production of the movie, and that apparently the initial plan was to go to Kashyyyk.
Yeah, with
and
the Wookiees.
and have the Wookiees be the end battle, and Kashyyyk.
That would have
be
been
the end
awesome.
planet. Now they changed that,
Would
and
it?
they made it Ewoks, essentially Wookiee spelled backwards. So, or an anagram, I should say.
An anagram.
And they made them tiny teddy bears who are vicious and will kill you without a second thought.
Cannibals.
Which I thought was hilarious, honestly, and was cute. So I had no issue with that. But yeah, a lot of people who were following the production closely were like, "Oh my god, it's not the Wookiees." No.
Wookiees. Laugh it up, fuzzball. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Having this again, this kind of like interesting society culture that's in some kind of interesting.
The Gungans, yes.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I remember just being like, I remember thinking this looks awesome and beautiful, and it's just different. You're not just on a surface of a planet anymore. Like I really remember kind of appreciating that.
And then looking at it now, I really feel that it fits in with the world building that was already done in the originals with the different planets and the different species. So like, how cool is it to be on a planet called Naboo, and then you have another species on that planet living in the water? It's like the concept of like there's mer people in the human world, like the Little Mermaid. So
Merman. By the way, for those of you just
I love this guy right here, because when I was a kid, whenever he like shakes his head, it would always make me laugh so hard.
Yeah. Well, anyway, for those of you just tuning in and wondering what the Bantha fodder is going on, this is the 25th anniversary watch-along of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, that came out in 1999. We are currently at the 15-minute and 46-second mark, so if you want to queue up your copy on physical media or streaming service, watch the movie along with us, share your favorite memories, favorite things about Star Wars, favorite books, favorite comics, favorite podcasts that talk about Star Wars, which may or may not include the big sci-fi podcast. I'm just giving you a plug there. But let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. Don't forget to like and share this with everyone you know. If you're watching this live or what is known as a replay, thank you so much for being here. And thank you to everybody who has chimed in what is known as the chats. Let's see here. A few people have chimed in. I want to give them a moment here. Lauren says that would be dope if we got a young Qui-Gon series. What was it? Well, on animated, we did have a young Qui-Gon at one point. Tales of the Jedi was that. Aubrey Cabot, our good friend Aubrey, says, I just got my very first Star Wars comic earlier today.
You've taken your first step in the larger world.
Someone had to drop that line. Someone had to drop it. Thank you, Case. Aubrey, congratulations. Hope you enjoy your comic book or comic books, whatever you may have gotten. Fantastic. Good to hear from you, Aubrey. And feel free to watch the movie along with us. Maybe Liam Neeson's your Hollywood crush like it is for Adina over here. She just can't help it. Her eyes are just glued to the screen every time Liam Neeson shows up.
And for that.
Yeah, and for the Boss Nass being,
Boss Nass, best Gungan.
That's his name, Boss Nass. Count me out of this one. Better dead here than dead in the core.
So the other thing that I can't
Yes.
Get out of my head whenever I'm watching or thinking about this movie is Weird Al's song.
Yes,
came out.
I love it.
What's the name of the song? What's the name of the song?
The Saga Begins. Look
The
it up.
Saga
It's
Begins.
great.
Mhm.
I've never heard of this.
It's a parody of American Pie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's great.
And yeah, essentially in 6 minutes, it does this movie.
Have I heard this? All right, I'm gonna have to look at this later. I don't know what it is.
You need to listen to it. It's
Just
all right.
Weird Al.
Weird
Yeah.
Al. Okay.
Weird Al, Star Wars, and he's done a couple Star
Thank
Wars,
you.
parodies, but this one is specifically for this movie.
I did not know that he did that. So thank you for the fun fact. This line gets used a lot, and I feel like it's become a meme now. And I think there's even a T-shirt out there, a couple of T-shirts where the Qui-Gon line comes up. There's always a bigger fish. Yeah. Anyone ever noticed that?
Yeah.
There's always a bigger fish, right? There's always a bigger fish.
It's just something over the years with every Star Wars movie that there's always just like a couple of lines here or there that just stick with you.
Yeah. Well, Qui-Gon has a lot of good lines in this movie, doesn't he?
He does, but then like with The Mandalorian season 1, they had no idea that this is the way will become.
This is the way.
Iconic Star Wars phrase
God.
we say amongst everything else.
We're gonna be hearing that a lot tomorrow when we walk into the convention center in Philadelphia. I got to tell you that this is the way it's gonna be said.
Pictures already with Hayden and Rosario from today, and I think they're doing their interview right now that they do at the convention. And little thing for myself, I was looking through the pictures and there was a woman dressed up as a Puerto Rican Mandalorian, and she had Hayden hold the Puerto Rican flag, and I felt so much pride.
Oh wow.
And then Rosario was in the picture too, and she had a pair of chanclas in her hand in this like ninja pose. I was like, yes, yes.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's good news. That's really good news. That's how good they are to the fans out there. A lot of actors and actresses are like that, and thank them for that. That's wonderful. But yeah, I just can't wait to exchange words between Emily Swallow, who voices the armor. I cannot wait to meet her tomorrow. I'm so stoked.
Oh man,
I'm probably gonna lose my mind. I'm gonna lose my mind for sure. And then I have a print of hers. I'm gonna have her make it out to me. I'm gonna have her sign it like, "You are a Mandalorian, Ryan. This is the way." Emily Swallow the armor. I'm gonna have her sign it that way because to me that's the icing on the cake, brother. Yeah. So, and Emily Swallow is so good about being good to the fans. Have you seen her Instagram stories lately?
Oh yeah.
I mean, my gosh, she is so appreciative of the fans. And she's got that new T-shirt out now that says, "May the Forge be with you."
Ooh.
Which is on her website, which I believe is emilyswag.com. Make sure you look that up. She's got a lot of good products on there. Adina, you may want to write this one down. Really good swag. Good swag. Yeah. emilyswag.com is the name of the website for Emily Swallow. She's got autographed prints, autographed Black Series figures from Star Wars on there available to you. All kinds of things. And it's May, so she's having a sale on all of her Star Wars items.
Here comes the line. Or no, we missed it already.
No, we missed it. We did hear it. I did
hear
it.
it. You were talking about it.
We were having too much fun, Case.
By the way, I think this is my favorite piece of score of this movie. That might be a hot take. I know everyone loves Duel of the Fates. It's not my favorite piece of score.
What's the name of this piece?
Oh, got it. How come I know?
Oh, I was going to say, what's the name of the piece? I don't know what it is.
If you want to talk music, that you definitely need my big sci-fi co-host Brian. He's our music guy.
Brian, where are you? We need you in the studio.
You're here. You're Brian.
No. She's talking about Brian. I'm just saying, like Brian, where are you? We need to get you in the studio because apparently he's cooking dinner for his kids. So, Brian, get in here. Anyway, let's see. Nerdy Entrepreneur, also known as Lauren, says, "Ooh, that is going to be cool." You're darn right. Meeting Emily Swallow tomorrow morning is going to be cool. Yeah, meeting the armor. I've waited years for that moment. It's going to be golden. And then I get to see James Arnold Taylor because James Arnold Taylor answered one of my questions on his podcast a couple weeks ago. He mentioned me by name.
James Arnold Taylor is just so happy to be a part of Star Wars. Because
yeah, he is.
Direct with all the fans.
He eats it up, man. He eats it up every chance he gets. But yeah, he answered my question on his podcast a couple weeks ago, and I said if I ever see him again, I'm gonna have him like sign a print for that.
I believe this is Keira Knightley here.
This is Keira Knightley, yeah.
That is Keira Knightley?
Yeah, that's Keira Knightley.
About to say, like,
wow.
Let's play a game of is it Keira Knightley or is it Natalie Portman?
Yeah, this is Keira.
Yeah. But yeah, this is Keira.
This is Keira Knightley before she was Keira Knightley.
Yeah, she was 15 years old.
That's it? She was only 15?
15.
That's insanity.
No, actually, she was younger than that, I think.
She was younger?
Might have been 14 even.
Good lord.
That's the thing. She was actually the age that she was supposed to be. Natalie Portman was older. But she looks like Natalie
at
Portman
the time, yes. Yeah. Qui-Gon's ready to go shadow here. Shadow op. Like, okay, let's do a sneak attack.
I remember the Lego game. I love the joke that they did. They dropped down and the lightsaber doesn't activate because they just got out of the water. That's Lego comedy for you.
Man, there's some really good lightsaber moves in this movie.
Well, they definitely wanted to step that up compared to the original trilogy.
Yeah. We should leave the street, Your Highness. Duh. We're ambassadors for the Supreme Chancellor. He's got a great voice, doesn't he? Couldn't Liam Neeson just narrate every audiobook from here to eternity? And I think Adina would listen to every single one of them. Probably. Maybe one of these days he will narrate one of Adina's books.
Ooh.
Well, since you mentioned that,
Yeah.
Lunar Logic this morning, I just finished listening to the rest of the pickups.
Did you?
Bruce Horak from Strange New Worlds is narrating it, and
Ooh.
we're this close to being completely done. But maybe Liam will do one of my future books. But I really love Bruce. I want Bruce to do the rest of the series since I'm going to write the rest of it. I'm going to turn that into a series.
Oh, Lunar Logic is not just going to stay as a one and done. Okay.
No, for the longest time, that's what I was committed to. But then a couple people put the bug in my ear, and then hearing Bruce narrate it, I'm like, maybe I'm not done. So I'm not done.
Congrats on the audiobook, by the way. That's coming
Thank
up
you.
soon.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's Natalie.
But I'm
Portman right
already
there.
writing more in my Robot Galaxy series, and everything about robots is I fell in love with R2D2 and C3PO when I was like 6, and that's why I love robots today.
There you go. Make sure you pick up copies of her books, Adina's books. She's got a lot of them out there available to you.
I have the
By
link.
the way, we're about to get my favorite character in this entire movie, which is Rick Ollie, the pilot.
Oh, really?
He overacts, and I love it.
Oh, he overacts?
Yeah, a lot.
Where are you taking them? To Coruscant. That doesn't compute. You're under arrest. No thanks. We're not under arrest today, folks. Let's see here. Oh my goodness gracious. Brian is in the chat and he says, Adina, Liam. Laugh out loud. Just kidding.
See, now he's gonna next time we record, he's gonna be bugging me about that. That's
Yep.
what I'm gonna hear.
Way to go, Brian. Way to go, man.
That's my own fault for admitting it. Yeah.
It is.
I brought this upon myself.
Yep. But Brian's a cool dude. We like Brian. And Brian, hopefully you'll join us on one of these other shows in the near future. We'd love to have you back, brother.
So I do like Ewan McGregor, especially now.
Mm-hmm.
Now that he's matured a little bit.
Now that he's returned to the fandom and he came back in Obi-Wan Kenobi and he's got the facial hair growing out now.
He's just mature.
He is very mature, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. And he's
R2.
Yeah, R2 shows up. We get a bit of an order.
Here it is.
There's the blockade.
Every line delivery by him is just
this actor right here. There's the blockade. Okay. There's the blockade. Oh, we got a fire out on the engine.
The generator's been hit.
Your generator's been hit. And then here go all, what is it, 6, 7, 8 droids, and all 7 of them die except R2.
Yep.
They'll just cat him.
There he is. He's feisty. Get out of my way.
So what really, even hit me from a very young age is just how these robots can problem solve, given very little direct input from the humanoids. That they are just taking data from their surroundings and figuring out what to do, or what that their help is needed. That's one of the things, especially in the original trilogy. What always that's what I loved about R2D2.
You're right. He is saying everything excruciatingly loud. Yeah. I didn't even notice this. I don't pay attention to this stuff because plus it's been a hot minute since I've watched this movie. So way to go, Case. That's a great catch. He's overacting and overthinking stuff, and he just says it out loud way too loud. What's the name of this thing that Brian just put in? Let's see. Brian says, can there be a Star Wars film without a good old blockade? # of course not. There always has to be a blockade, no matter what Star Wars movie or TV series you're in. Isn't that right?
It's called conflict. It's rule number 1 when making a story.
It's called.
Will they make it, or will they get captured and die?
Oh yeah, that's the That's the question we get. Yeah. Goodness gracious.
Oh, and introduce Darth Maul.
I remember when I was in the theater and back to when we first see Ian, that when he was on the first hologram, my mother was like, oh my God! What? I'll tell you later. She was freaking out.
This is my apprentice, Darth Maul. He will find.
Well, I guess my question for you guys is, when you saw this movie in the theater or thereabouts, what was your level of knowledge, or how had you seen the original trilogy before this?
Yes,
or was this actually your first Star Wars movie?
Yeah,
I was introduced to Star Wars when I was 5 years old, so by the time these movies have come out, I have watched the original
Okay.
so many times.
Yeah.
Okay.
By that time, so I was more than familiar with the film. So hearing like Obi-Wan's name, like, oh wow, he's a Padawan. So I had all those connections already. So it made it even more thrilling and exciting for me. And then seeing R2, I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
Yeah, same thing. I watched the original trilogy a number of times. I don't think I watched it quite as much when I was a kid. I didn't fully appreciate the greatness that is the original trilogy until years later became much older and wiser. And I got some gray hairs back here, which means gray hair is a sign of wisdom for those of you wondering at home. So I watched the original trilogy a couple times. Then when this movie first came out back in the day in 99, I thought, oh, this is really cool. We're getting to see a young Obi-Wan. This is different. This is really different, but it's exciting at the same time, isn't it? So I remember just walking in there, I'm like, oh, so this is what Obi-Wan looked like before he was the badass that Alec Guinness played all them years later. At least in the canon part of it, anyway.
I do think they did a great job casting him, though.
He's good. Yeah, he's real good.
Say what you will about the prequels, but Ewan McGregor is perfect.
Ewan McGregor and Liam Neeson are, to me, outside of the pod race and a few other sequences that take place during this movie, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan's relationship is phenomenal in this movie, and it's explored in even greater detail within the book, specifically Master and Apprentice, written by the great writer known as Claudia Gray. If you haven't read it yet, please do yourself a favor. Read that book, get the audiobook, do whatever you got to do, because that book is one of the best things in sliced bread.
What I love about Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon is that Obi-Wan represents a little bit of the Jedi Order and what the Jedi Order, the Council become, and the way they view things now. And then Qui-Gon really is more of what the Jedi, in my opinion, should have been, and how they rely on the Force, and how you see these two dynamics. And it's like the last fragments of, you know, like, because we're going into Acolyte, that mindset of the High Republic and how you view the Force and how you were a Force user with it. You still see that little tug of war with these two. And I love that now.
What I particularly love is how, Ryan, I know you don't like the movie, so shut up for a moment. But in The Last Jedi, Luke says that it is exactly because of the Jedi being, so like high and mighty, we have all the power, and that's exactly why they fell. And that is exactly true. And like, you can see it in these movies. The Jedi are honestly very stupid. They make a lot of stupid decisions, and that's why they all died, or almost all of them. The smart ones survived, though, a couple. But this was definitely the end of the era of the Jedi, where they had kind of lost their way, lost their power, if they ever had it.
And it's interesting now, because now we have the stories of the High Republic, and Yoda has been around and has seen all of these changes, and how even he succumbs to it. And then which is why he goes to the Dagobah system, because of the feelings and the realizations he has.
Also because he went there in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, that too.
The Dagobah system? There you will learn from Yoda, Jedi Master who instructed me. Anyway.
That's what Watchalong will do next year.
I know. That movie turns, 45 next year, which is insanity to think about. Yeah.
45?
Well,
okay, by the way, if you want to feel old, Star Wars turns 50 in 3 years.
Yeah. Adina's thinking, oh my God.
I turned 50 this year.
Yes. You have a milestone coming up for yourself.
I do.
Which, by the way, I know it's early. I apologize, but congratulations. Fantastic. We love it. Hey, it's 1999, so you're going back to when you were 25. It's a simpler time. We're going to stay up all night. We're going to watch all 9 movies. You'll be fine. So, yeah.
You're funny. That is the funniest thing I've heard all day.
No, it's fantastic. You're welcome. We're thankful that you're here. We're thankful that the person who may be watching or listening to this right now is here, because this is the 25th anniversary watch along of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. We are currently at 32 minutes and 30 seconds into the movie. So if you want to keep your copy on physical media or a streaming service, go ahead, watch the movie with us, share your memories, your thoughts, your favorite quotes, which Case has a lot of them, and favorite books, comics, etc., like The King and I, in the comments below. Don't forget to like and share this with every single person that you could possibly fathom. And if you're watching this live or on a replay, we thank you for being here. And Adina's got plenty of plushies in tow. So.
You know what the thing is? I tried quoting, but then you all started talking about other things, and I kept being distracted, so I couldn't do it.
It's okay.
Believe me, I can quote this movie, but if y'all keep talking, I can't do it.
Well, we're having too much fun getting to know each other a little bit.
No, that's true. That's absolutely true.
You know, because
I'm having a great time.
You know, Adina and Jen are sharing things with us that I was not aware of. So it's fascinating to hear these kind of stories. That's all I'm saying. Oh, look, a C-3PO, a little wink and a nod with that, bent up droid back there in the middle of the shop. Anyone notice that?
Are you sure it's 3PO and not a different protocol droid?
Well, it is a different protocol droid. I'm just saying it looks very similar to
okay.
3PO.
It's just a protocol droid, but we know that 3PO is in Anakin's house.
It's just an Easter egg. That's all I'm saying.
But if I can just take a moment,
yes,
like I know that everyone on this podcast, with the exception of me, loves Qui-Gon Jinn, and I can explain you why. Because I watched the original trilogy, and in the original trilogy, they made it pretty abundantly clear that Obi-Wan was trained by Yoda. Now, I know that they changed it around in the prequels as in Yoda trained everyone, essentially. But I was just like, why the hell does Qui-Gon Jinn even exist as a character if he was never, ever mentioned in the original trilogy? Because, they came up with a character, and I was just like, I didn't like that, honestly. The character of Qui-Gon is kind of interesting, but I don't honestly think he does enough to really grab my attention. I don't know what it is. I just never cared for him all that much. Well, and that's just me.
So I completely agree with you with this was an unnecessary character. I agree with you. He was not mentioned in the original series, and in that way, in some ways, he's unnecessary. But I like him because of Liam.
Yeah,
and really,
no,
that's it.
I was going to say,
this is where I think that Star Wars unfortunately had like almost an uphill battle to fill in world building, and I don't think they always did that well. Because again, originally it was just what was really just a movie, and then it became a trilogy. And for the longest time, that was it. Yes, there were books and event, and such like that. But I think the filling in world building these days, like now, I think they're doing a good job with the new series.
They're really making a big effort to make everything inclusive and make sure that everything makes a bit more sense.
I think when this movie came out and that set of movies came out, I don't think they were taking the care of the world. I think they were just trying to make it bigger and better because it was just going to be a big blockbuster movie, and that was it. I don't think that they were deeply appreciating the world building the way they're doing it today. So yes, I agree that it was a forced fit in a lot of in here, but Liam Neeson.
No pun intended. Forced fit.
Well, what I'm thinking about is like if we going back a time, if we were to propose a few changes, but still keeping with what we got, I can't see Master Yoda going with Obi-Wan.
No. Okay, but the thing that has been that I've heard a lot of times is that the characters of Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi should have been one character named Obi-Wan Kenobi. Qui-Gon Jinn should not have been there in the first place. We should not have this entire conflict on Naboo. It should just be Obi-Wan finding Anakin at some point. And Anakin should probably be aged up a little bit more because despite I have no issue with Jake Lloyd. I just think the writing of the character and him being so young is probably not the best idea for the character of Anakin Skywalker, and he probably should have been a little bit older. Like, have Anakin be a teenager and just have him be with Obi-Wan Kenobi. And that's it. You don't need to add a character that did not exist in the original trilogy. George Lucas decided to do that, and I was not a fan of that with Qui-Gon.
No, I agree this would have worked just fine if it was just Obi-Wan going and you didn't have Qui-Gon at all. In every single scene that the two of them are there, you can take out Qui-Gon, give Obi-Wan the important things, and I don't think you lose a thing. I agree with that. As for the age of Anakin, the only problem that I have really is then what eventually happens with the romance. Girl her age going like he's that. Yeah, no. I was a girl that age.
Well, that's just it. If you're 14 and 9, that's too much of an age gap. If you're 34 and 29, that's a bit more acceptable.
yes. But the thing is in like movie 2, it's more like she's 20 and he's 15. Which
no. In Attack of the Clones, he's 19 and she's 24.
Okay, still, I was a 24-year-old woman. No, 19-year-old guys are
Like-
no. When I was 14,
Mhm.
a 19-year-old guy, yes. When I was 24,
Oh, wow.
no.
Wow, we're getting
Okay, you stop making sense.
we're getting some interesting rules, regulations, and semantics about who should date who at what age and what time in their life are they doing this for.
I mean, I can see your point though with the with the age gap.
It is
because
weird.
because
It's
they
very
are
weird.
There is an age gap in the books between Padme and Anakin. She is older, but not extreme. To where like what Adina was saying, you know, like 34 and what was it, 20 something. It's like, oh yeah, they're both adults. They're fine.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
But then like getting to Jake, I was actually talking about this earlier. Because they were commenting on the writing and the acting, and I said, well, when I've thought about it, you have a young actor, you're telling him to have feelings and express certain feelings that maybe he has not felt before being so young. And the fact that you're having a kid in the story being a slave when he's never been in slavery. So how do you direct a child to have those feelings when they're so young and they don't have that understanding from a maturity standpoint? Because none of us have ever lived through slavery, but as we've gotten older and read stories and have studied in school, if we were an actor and we were being directed by a director, so you're a slave, here's the situation, the feelings and emotions, we could probably get on that wave of how to portray that versus an 8-year-old child. So
yeah. So for a child to understand slavery, though, I actually to direct, and again, I'm not a director, so I'm just
right. I'm speaking amateurly, just my thoughts on what I just like thinking about. It's like how do you tell a child to, hey, you're a slave? This is what this means.
So, but the thing is, I think that's one you could actually very easily explain to a child, because children live with so many restrictive rules normally. In some ways, maybe for them, they perceive like, again, I have a almost 14-year-old and a 5.5-year-old.
Oh my God.
And I tell them what to do. You know, like
I tell them what to do.
I do.
And
now the consequences of them not listening might not be, or they're not as dire as in that situation. But I think explaining to an 8-year-old, hey, you're being told what to do and you have to listen. I think that's one of the more reasonable things to work with a kid, where there are other emotions of love and other things that are going to be more complex and stuff that might be a lot harder. But I think that one, because of just how the restrictive world that kids live in, might not be so bad. But I'm not a director. What do I do? I just have 2 kids that don't listen to me.
You have 2 kids that don't listen. Oh, come on. They listen
I'm
to you.
exaggerating. I have really great kids, and most of the time they listen.
I've seen a little bit of the interaction that you've had with your children. They're cool. They're fine. They're resilient. They're going to be fine. They're going to do well in whatever career they end up doing in many years from now. Who knows?
Yep.
By the way, we just had Darth Maul speak his first lines. Does anyone know the voice actor for Darth Maul in this? It's not Sam Witwer.
And
it's someone different.
And it's not Ray Park either.
No, because if you hear Ray Park speak, you know why. All due respect. No, it's Peter Serafinowicz. He's the armorer in John Wick 2.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I was not aware of that. That's another fun fact, which, by the way, Aubrey says, I too love learning new things about the Star Wars universe I didn't already know. Brian commented earlier about certain characters that should have been included in Star Wars, but Brian says, but he has a cool lightsaber, Adina.
Yeah, I could have a cool lightsaber too. Padme could have gotten her own cool lightsaber.
Samuel L. Jackson brought us purple.
He did bring us purple. And then, by the way, Lauren was saying about the age gaps and the age differences between 2 different people. The police would have been called. Yeah, they would have been called. Yes, security would have been called.
And again, it's just my point was really more the mature, like appreciating different maturity levels, right? Because again, again, not how I felt when I was 14, 19, 25. It obviously is not representative of all women, but the people I know, I think I'm a little closer to the people I know than, I'm a little bit more in the norm than not. And usually, at least the guys I dated, their maturity level, I was looking for people who matched my maturity level or was a little greater, which meant that chronologically they were several years older than me, whatever time. Now my husband's actually a few years younger than me, but I'm 50, so it's different.
It's different. Things are different now in 2024.
Things are different now. Yes. No.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with
it's
the
more
fact that
so if you're
2024.
older.
It has to do with the fact that I'm 50. I'm not 25.
It's okay.
It's the point I made. If you're 24, or if a person is 34 and the other is 29, that's okay. But if they're 14 and 9, that's not okay. Even though it's the exact same age gap, actually.
To me, it's just strange, weird, bizarro world, kind of Twilight Zone-y kind of stuff that doesn't make any sense. And by the way, little fun fact here, right after the movie known as Jingle All the Way, which is a holiday classic.
Love that movie!
Yeah, I want the Superman doll. Starring Arnold, and by the way, Sinbad has been through a lot of health issues over the years. Sinbad, hope you're doing better, man. Jake Lloyd gets the role of Anakin right after that movie had come out because they started filming this in 1996 so it could release in 1999. So Jake had to change his hair. They had to give him all these new costumes, this new look and everything. So if I was a kid his age and I got the role of a lifetime as Anakin, I mean, what kid wouldn't be excited, right? So the fact that he's in this movie and acting the way that he is, despite what we may think about directorial stuff done by George Lucas, he's playing the role he was meant, he's playing, and his acting does. A lot of people throw his acting under the bus. It doesn't bother me. He's supposed to be excited. His eyes are supposed to be open wide and be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm going on a starship."
He's acting like a child should, and people forget too. Technically, the Jedi are not. There was a time where the Jedi are not really seen. They were more myth and mystery and legend. So the fact that Anakin is actually seeing a real Jedi, and because he is the chosen one, if you will, and he's force sensitive and he can pick up on those things, why wouldn't he react this way? It's like the stories are true. Whoa! Like I think if I were a kid, I would react the same exact way.
He's playing the role he was meant to play.
Especially considering this kid has known nothing else in his life than slavery on Tatooine. He's grown up on that planet.
That's the
He's
other
never
thing.
known anything else. So why the hell would he know anything else outside of his planet? He has never met a Jedi before. He's never met anyone besides, pilots who have stories. But stories are only one thing. Actually seeing it is a whole nother thing. At 9 years old,
I mean,
it tracks.
He's playing the role to the best of his ability. And Jake Lloyd, we know you've been through a lot in the last 25 years, and we know you've recently
And it's because of those toxic Star Wars fans that decided to go after him. And I'm like, no. He was not the issue. George Lucas was the issue.
At the time.
The directing was ass.
Yeah. By the way, I don't know if this is ever going to happen or not. By the way, this is all up to the person as individually. If Jake ever decides, and by the way, if he does, more power to him. If he doesn't, I completely understand. If he comes back to the fandom and starts doing conventions again, I would be more than happy.
I am going to go see him.
To sit down with Jake. Sit down with Jake and have him sign my Star Wars Episode 1 DVD set. I will happily ask him to do it.
I can tell you right now that if he decides to pop up at a Star Wars Celebration at some point,
Japan,
the hall is going to explode.
If he comes, well, I'll tell you what, Jen, you're going to be in the middle of that in Japan next year. So if he shows up, the whole room is going to explode, and Adina's going to be thinking to herself, "Why wasn't I here?" Adina's going to be thinking, "Why wasn't I approached for this gig?" And by the way, Brian says, if I can bring this up here, I bet Liam matches Adina's maturity level.
Adina, you're going to get it so bad on your next episode recording.
I think you're going to get it bad for the next several months because of Brian back
By the way, there's still an hour and a half to go. We can do there are going to be so many jokes in this regard.
There's going to be a lot here. By the way, thanks for bringing that in there, Brian. You're the man. Hope the dinner goes over well with your children that you've been cooking for the last 30 minutes.
Yeah, have fun.
Yeah, enjoy that dinner, man. I mean, keep enjoying this because we're having a lot of fun with your comments on Adina's crush on Hollywood's own Liam Neeson.
By the way, speaking of Liam Neeson and conventions, he hasn't been a Star Wars Celebration for forever, has he?
I don't think he's ever been to one.
He should, though.
He should. I think he would.
You think the room would go crazy if he walked in?
That would turn up just for him.
I think Jen would show up happily if Liam were to walk into a room. She'd probably lose her mind.
Do you know how many films I've seen him in? God,
let me ask you a question though, because I know a lot of people have differing opinions on this, and that's fine. Have you seen all 3 Taken movies?
Okay, why would you watch the second or the third?
I like the second one.
What's wrong with you?
I like the second one. The third one can jump off a cliff, but the second one is fine. Adina, have you seen all the Taken movies?
No, I've seen the first one. I think my husband's seen all three.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
It's fair.
He might have a little crush on him too.
Okay. Well, hey. If we all have our crushes, no harm, foul.
Oh, by the way, for anyone who might be wondering, no, the young Rodian is not Greedo. There was supposed to be
not Greedo.
There was actually supposed to be a scene in this movie with a young Greedo finding Anakin, but that was cut out of it.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah.
I was not aware of that. Thanks for bringing that up.
The more you know, Ryan.
Exactly. I feel like we should be.
Jar Jar.
My tongue is thick. One.
I'm looking at Liam Neeson's IMDb page.
Yes.
There's actually a lot of recent stuff I have not seen.
Well, that's because every movie he's done has been pretty much the same movie as Taken.
Essentially,
Okay,
since Taken,
fair,
he has done
fair.
Taken, but different.
Yeah, and they're all called. They all have a different title.
And they're all just cheap ripoffs, and you shouldn't really see them. Let's be fair.
Okay, I did see the Lego movie. I love the Lego movie. That was
He
almost
was.
there
What was his
every
name?
night.
He was Good Cop, Bad Cop.
He was Good Cop, Bad Cop.
Yeah.
By the way, that was hilarious what he did.
Yeah.
As Good Cop and Bad Cop in Lego Movie.
It's so good.
I forget the line
It was
though. What was
almost
You're the special.
our most recent family movie night movie.
That's a good family night movie. It is Lego Movie.
Yeah.
Everything is.
We've seen it. We've all seen it several times. That's the
Oh.
only reason why it wasn't.
Okay, well that's fair. At least you've seen it several times, so the kids know what's coming.
I would pod race. I would.
Best sound design for this movie. The pod.
The pod
Yeah,
race
it's
or the pod.
working.
I love the pod race. Oh my
It's
God.
working.
Like the pod race is easily my favorite scene, and it's because of the sound design. Because it's just eargasm.
Okay.
Well, I think too, like when it comes to Anakin, it's another way of telling his story about how really advanced he was and how attuned he was to the Force to kind of show those little things. Like he's building a droid from scratch. He's building a pod racer from scratch.
Yeah.
That's not a normal 9-8-year-old thing to do. At least I would think.
Yeah.
So,
Normally 8-year-olds are just playing with their Lego sets. Isn't that right, Adina?
Well, so yes, but also my headcanon a little bit about building the droid. Given that
Ryan,
form
don't
factor
shame
and everything
me.
is very common in the universe, I feel like similar to what we actually have access to. It's like a kit. There's like a little aspect of a kit to it that he managed to get like his hands on, basically a kit to get started. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because
no, I can see that. Yeah.
yeah,
That does.
it's because C-3PO isn't unique. I mean, he's unique as an individual, but his form factor and everything is not unique. In
Well,
the
yeah,
universe.
protocol droid. You're right about that.
Yeah.
Here comes the mini chlorian discussion.
Let's not.
Yeah. What does that mean exactly?
I mean, they're in the newer content. They're making it work.
Ugh.
Are they really? I guess I haven't really been. I'm like I blank when that comes up.
Adina, Case, and I are drawing a blank on that one.
So they in this last season of Bad Batch, they bring it up again.
Oh, they do.
I haven't
Okay.
seen
By the way, they don't just bring it up. They make it a very important point.
They do.
And it's done so well, honestly.
No, it is. Like
Adina and I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
They make it make sense because it has to do with the cloning and for Project Necromancer, which was Palpatine's basically project to clone himself and all that.
Essentially they lay down the groundwork of how Palpatine in The Rise of Skywalker and Snoke in the sequel trilogy in general happened.
Wow.
And it also shows why it makes Grogu even more valuable.
Oh, really?
In the Mandalorian show and why they go after him with how they unpack it.
I guess Adina and I have a lot of homework to do. And Adina's wondering, why do I keep putting myself through this kind of torture?
It's not torture. It's just there's so much content and not enough time.
Yeah, which
I guess
we're
it's
gonna
a little torture. Yeah,
we're going to be talking a lot about this in the month. I think it's the month of June, where a certain movie turns 35, where he says, "So much to do and so little time." So true, so true. For those of you wondering, we got plenty of time left in this thing. You want to know why? Because this is Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace's 25th anniversary watch-along. We are 52 minutes and 50 seconds into this movie. If you want to join us, watch the movie on your streaming service or physical media, do so now or forever hold your peace. Let us know your favorite things about this, the trilogies, books, comic books, the audio books, whatever, etc., in the comments. And if you're watching this live on a replay, thank you so much for being with us. And once again, thank you to our esteemed panel of panelists for being here as well, which include plushies.
By the way, as much as I like the Podrace, the betting gets too convoluted. I stopped following at one point.
Yeah. How much are they betting? I don't even know.
Well, the thing is, like, there's a bet going on about the pod that Anakin races. There's a bet going on about Anakin. In this case, they also tried to bet the mother, but that doesn't go through. It's just Anakin. Spoiler alert for in 2 seconds.
Spoiler alert.
But anyway, yeah, so Anakin. Anyway, so you have that going on. You have a bet going on about the ship that they have, the Nubian ship from Naboo.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, I'm just like, what is going on? What is on the line? I don't know anymore. At the end, Qui-Gon wins everything. Watto loses everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he cries at the end. He's like, I lost everything. How could you do this? So sad. For him, anyway. Goodness gracious. What do you mean by that? I'll tell you later. Good morning. Space travel. Sounds rather perilous. And we got me on those dreadful stuff.
And yeah, not a fan of the fact that Anakin built 3PO.
That's a weird thing to say. This is so wizard, Annie. That is so weird.
And yet the Mandalorian says it after he flies.
Yeah, not only that, you get by the way, rest in peace, Grief Karga, also known as Apollo Creed, also known as gosh darn it, what's his name? I lost it. Oh gosh, what's the actor's name?
Dylan.
No, I can't. No, not.
No.
Darn it. I'm losing it. I don't have it. Anyway, he says, "Hey, come on, kid, do the magic hand thing."
Let's see.
Just one of the better lines.
Carl Weathers.
Carl Weathers. Gosh darn it, man. I'm so sorry I forgot that name for a second.
Here we go. Pod racing.
That's absolutely right. And a big turnout here from all corners of the Outer Rim territories.
I love the twang.
Yes, I agree.
I see the contestants are making their way out on the track.
From the tune system.
Tuned. Yeah. Tuned.
Bulls roar.
Bulls roar.
Sebulba.
Yeah. I guess we could call him the dirtiest player in this game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, big time.
As like they say about the Nature Boy Ric Flair,
pole position.
World Champion.
Haddock.
A hearty hello.
And it's both a KT9 Wasp.
Goodness gracious. All these different races.
It's Mighty Duck Bolt with that incredible racing machine, the Volt Dream 327. That's a lot of mentions in Star Wars, by the way.
Wow, look at this. My gosh, man.
And hoping for a big win today is Odie Mandrell. Silly droids. This is Adina's wheelhouse. Any droids that show up, she's gonna be smiling and grinning from ear to ear.
And also, I really enjoyed the pod racing scene because.
Oh, I do too. This is the best.
Yeah, like crank up your. Every single time that I watch the scene, I just crank up the volume to the highest possible and just listen to the engines.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
Wow.
That's the second poop joke of the movie.
Yeah.
Boy.
Be safe. Yeah, don't worry, Mom. I'll be safe. I promise.
My pod's gonna crash.
Yeah, my pod's gonna have some technical issues, but you know.
There was a pod racing game.
The pod racing game for instance 4 was awesome. Though,
by the way, I had like a Game Boy type thing in the shape of Anakin's pod, where you would play a game and you would play the pod race.
Nice.
Which was pretty awesome back in the day.
Man, I want to play that.
I remember at the time, or shortly after this came out, there was at Dave & Buster's, they had one you sat on. And so it vibrated a bit and you were holding things like this. It was a lot of fun. It was expensive because it was, Dave & Buster's. But
Dave & Buster's. That's a throwback, Adina.
Yeah. It's a long time ago.
Remember. By the way, I tell these pieces of advice that Qui-Gon is offering to Anakin. I actually said this in my previous job where I was working in the testing center at my college. We were in the testing center and all these students were coming in to take tests, and I would just look at them and give them a Qui-Gon speech. Remember, I would tell them straight up, remember, concentrate on the moment. Feel. Don't think. Use your instincts. May the Force be with you. And they respected that. They dug it. And I'm thinking, I wish I could stay here longer and work here longer, but unfortunately, there's this little thing that comes up in college called graduation, and then you got to move on to greener pastures and get a real job. And I'm thinking, why can't I just stay here?
All right. Shut up for a moment and listen to the sound.
I can't because everything's turned off. I got subtitles on here.
Oh, come
on. I'm respecting the copyrights.
But you're listening to your headphones, aren't you?
Not in the system that I have.
Oh, man.
The Queen trusts my judgment, young handmaiden. You should too. You assume too much. In and Natalie Portman being.
By the way, and that's exactly what Newt Gunray says to her earlier in the film.
Really?
Or later.
Really?
At some point in this movie.
Oh, thanks for bringing that up. Interesting.
There we go. Here we go.
Oh, if only Qui-Gon knew he just spoke to the Queen that way.
Oh, jeez.
Ah, that's so good.
I think I'm a second or two ahead of you guys.
Oh, bye, Ryan. That's it for us now.
Oh, no.
I'm a big Formula One fan myself, so I definitely appreciate this game. Oh, Warwick Davis.
Yep. Oh, so good. There's Warwick.
There we go. And Anakin stalls. So little Skywalker has stalled.
Willow.
Yeah. Central also.
Just reboot it. Reboot always works.
Speaking of Formula One, I've literally seen this happen in a race once that someone stalled and he still won the race at the end. So this can happen. Realistic enough.
Okay. Not that I'm looking for realism in my Star Wars movies.
I'm just trying to defend the scene to people who might think it sucks. Because there are people who don't like the scene. I'm like, what's wrong with you? It's great.
It's just a fun pod race. There's nothing not to like about this.
I mean, you have to have fun at some point in these movies. I mean, like, I think in every movie you can find a fun spot. I mean, it doesn't like there's a balance to it.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah.
No, like I think this is a great scene because again, to like what I was saying before, you know, it's another tool to tell the story of Anakin and just, you know, how he.
Well, yeah, because like what Qui-Gon explains earlier is like, well, the Jedi reflexes to raise pods because normal human beings can't do it. And you see it. All his competitors are aliens.
There's not another human. Yeah, it's just Annie.
And you see, you know, he also he says he built the fastest pod, and then he shows it. He does essentially he does all the talking for himself on track.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just like. Despite the fact that, you know, this movie can get a little wordy at times, like dialogue heavy, but it is shown here. What's power coupling? And he's already a lap down. Welcome back, Ryan.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know. Commercial breaks. Some people have to pay bills, pay sponsorships. It's okay. I'm fine. Everything's fine. We're all fine here now. Thank you. How are you?
I'm great. I'm watching the Phantom Menace racing scene.
Which is your favorite part of the whole gosh darn
movie? It is, because it's great.
It's
so
great.
You decide to just Go away during the best scene. What is wrong with you?
I'm sorry. I had to pay some sponsorships and pay some bills. It happened.
No, I get it, right?
It happens.
Just giving you shit.
Oh, yeah.
Moving up the field.
Yay, Annie!
Yippee!
Yippee! Which a lot of people criticize that word for being in that movie a lot. But
Oh,
anyway,
screw it.
but who cares?
Let him be a kid.
They're kids being kids.
Like-
You're allowed to say the word yippee if something good happens. To
Like, I'm 30. I'm still allowed to say yippee.
you. Yeah, I mean, you know.
Sounds ridiculous when I do, sure, but I don't care.
Can I text my husband and ask him to make me popcorn?
Sure, why not?
Yay.
We're in the middle
now,
of the movie.
now watching them all have it. Jabba's having his snack. The audience are getting their snacks. I need a snack.
Yeah, we need popcorn in the movie theater here at the virtual studio of Anti-Quote Channel.
Nice jump.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, that's one thing you have to arrange for us, Ryan. Whenever you do a watch along, give us popcorn.
Yeah, we make sure there's plenty of popcorn, soda, chocolates, junior mints, that kind of thing.
My favorite chocolate is Ferrero Rocher, just for future reference.
That's a good choice, by the way.
Yes.
Oh, Kate agrees with you on that statement.
And here it starts to go wrong for everyone.
Oh,
Yeah.
he throws a wrench into the situation. Everybody.
Yeah. But by the way, this takes throwing a spatter in the works to a whole new level, I feel.
Goodness gracious. Oh, Skywalker's spinning out of control.
It's okay, Mama.
We're gonna
It's
figure
okay,
this
I got
out.
a magnet, a really strong magnet. It's
A
gonna
really
help.
strong magnet. Magnets. Magnets. Mm. Oh, there it is, right there.
Yeah, exactly.
He's bringing it out now.
There we go.
Ching! Put the thing back.
All fixed.
Reconnect this thing, will you?
Easy. Easiest thing in the world.
Magnets.
And he just
Magnets.
passes 1, 2,
Magnets.
3.
Yep.
Man, so many films came out in 1999. My goodness gracious.
It was a big year.
It was a big year. A lot of movies turned the big 2.5 this year. It's crazy. Let's see here. Someone just brought this up. Brian says what Adina says every time Liam comes on the screen. Yippee! Oh, it's all in good. It's all in good fun here, Brian and Adina. It's all in good fun. We love you. Goodness gracious! Every time Liam shows up, she says yippee. Well, here's the thing though. If Adina was in the convention center in Japan for Star Wars Celebration next year, and Liam Neeson comes out on stage, is she going to yell "Yippee" so loud that all 50,000 people in the stands are going to hear that?
I would.
Okay, all right.
And I'll be sitting next to her and be like, she did.
She did.
Look at her. Look at this one.
And then Liam's going to take one look at Adina and says, "The Queen trusts my judgment, my friend Adina. You should too." It could happen. You never know.
Oh, the most difficult mini kit in the Lego game.
Mm-hmm.
This one right here, because you need to hit that gate. If you don't hit it, you miss it, and you're fucked. Really annoying.
Who knows? Maybe the Big Sci-Fi Podcast will be invited to join them at Star Wars Celebration as a podcast guest, and then they can meet what's his name, Liam Neeson, behind closed doors for an interview.
We are available for podcasts, just like we're doing stuff for Trek Long Island, like Trek Trivia.
Which
I
is
didn't
great.
mention that before.
Yes, and congratulations on that. I hope Trek, Trek Long Island? I hope that's a lot of fun.
Yep,
for you
Trek
and the
Long
crew up
Island
there.
too. This is the second year for this convention, and it was awesome last year. It's going to be awesome this coming year. It's a month from now. I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh, yay. That's awesome. Whoa, this is a close call, isn't it?
Yay for Saboba's pod sound design.
This little piece is starting to come off on his pod.
Yeah, it's the piece that Saboba ripped from his thing.
It's that piece of metal, whatever it's called. I don't know. I don't know mechanics. I know nothing.
His little dinghy.
This little thingy.
This is what I'm going to call
Dingle hopper.
It's a dingle hopper.
Hopper.
Oh, that reminds me. That movie turns 35 this year.
Yes, it
Yeah,
does.
we're going to watch it later.
Which, yeah, we're all going to watch it later. Right after this movie, we're going to turn on our Disney portion of our show, and we're going to watch Little Mermaid with
Ryan,
Jen
I'm
and
already on Disney Plus.
Yeah, Jen and Adina are going to be here with us for that one too. It's a dingle hopper.
Let me check when we have that one scheduled.
That's much later in the year, I think. That's
Yeah.
Isn't that like November or something?
Yeah.
Or October, September? I don't know. Either way, I mean, Jen's probably going to be here because she's a Disney fanatic. So
how did you know?
I know. I wonder why.
November 17th.
Thank you. Which is a week and a half before Thanksgiving.
No.
It's a week and a half before Thanksgiving, in case anyone.
Oh, by the way, what you should watch on Thanksgiving is the movie Thanksgiving.
Really? Because for a second there, I thought you were going to turn the tables on me and say, "Hey, Ryan, if you're going to watch something for Thanksgiving, you need to watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles."
I don't know that movie, so.
You've never heard of John Hughes?
I've heard of him. I just haven't seen the movie.
Okay, because Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is like a seminal holiday classic. Isn't
that
right,
is an amazing movie.
How many times
homework.
have you seen it?
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles has to be like a homework.
List.
How many times have you seen it, Adina? A number of times?
I've seen that one a lot. So that was one. So, back in the day when I was like a kid and teenager, we, would have things on VHS and then you just watch and watch and watch and watch it over and over and over again. That was one.
Oh, okay. By the way, those were not pillows. Sorry, had to throw the line in there somewhere. I don't know.
The scene when Steve Martin walks up to the car rental desk is the best.
Is it?
Got a lot of F-bombs in it.
Yeah.
But it was amazing. I love Steve. I'm a huge Steve Martin fan. I love Steve Martin.
Have you been watching the new series, Murders in the Building?
So
No.
I hear it's one of the best things since sliced bread, according to critics and audiences.
Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Selena Gomez, and that young woman can keep up with both of them.
The Selena Gomez. Yeah.
I highly recommend that show. It is so good.
It's on my Hulu watch list.
A little tiny bit of a spoiler. You have Steve Martin, Martin Short trying to do a podcast, Adina. And Martin Short is like carrying all this equipment around with microphones, trying to talk to people being Martin.
So I saw their comedy special a couple years ago. They had a Netflix one. And right now there's like a 2-part Netflix documentary on Steve Martin that I'm in the middle of watching.
Oh, wow.
No, I do love Steve Martin. So I will.
Steve Martin.
There's just working through so many different shows and there's just so much content out there. That's good.
That's true. Murders in the Building is one of the most successful shows on streaming services right now, I believe.
And the they had like a few cameos season 1, and now it's like a thing. Like every season's like, who are we gonna get this season? And how they just bring all these actors in.
Maybe that will be. So I always have a show that I call my treadmill show, where I'm only allowed to watch it if I'm on the treadmill, and I'm almost done with the one I'm watching. So maybe that will be my next. That sounds like something that could be my next.
There you go.
That would be a good one to do, actually, for your treadmill.
Treadmill.
Okay.
Treadmill. I haven't heard that word in a while.
There's a YouTube channel I watch. I watch a few YouTube channels with professional voice trainer singers, because they will watch movies and do analyze the singing and talk about the singing. And one of them actually does that on her channel. And when she watches a movie, she's always on the treadmill doing her commentary on the singing techniques in movie.
No kidding.
Nice.
Wow. So I guess in Adina's case, anytime Steve Martin shows up in a movie, television series, or a special appearance at a special event that she may or may not be attending, it's a lucky day.
Yeah.
Man, just where Obi-Wan starts with Anakin calling him a pathetic, useless life form.
And why do I get the sense we've picked up another pathetic life form?
Well, that's more so because of Jar Jar. He doesn't know anything about Anakin yet.
It's really Jar Jar.
Yeah, but for me as a fan, just like the way he just automatically said that, it just shows where as a Jedi, as a person, and the mentality of the Council, I think. But then where he grows to with Anakin and how that changes over time. It's just like thinking of his arc. It's just something. It's like, wow, that's how it starts, but that's where it ends. Is so powerful.
Interesting, man. All kinds of things are being brought up during this show. And for those of you just tuning in, this is Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace's 25th anniversary watch-along. We are 1 hour, 12 minutes, 54 seconds into the movie. If you want to queue up your copy on physical media or streaming service, please do so now. Share your favorite memories, favorite things about Star Wars. It's all about Star Wars today. It is Star Wars Day. It's May the 4th be with you. We hope you are enjoying this presentation. Don't forget to like and share this so everyone you know. And if you're watching this live on a replay, thank you all so much.
Ryan, can you
Yeah.
repeat the time for me?
Oh yeah, sorry. It's we're about 1 hour and 13 minutes in.
Okay, because initially she said 54 seconds, I think.
Well, yeah,
and
but
that
now we're
was-
at one. Yeah,
But that was way further than I was at that point.
it's okay.
I'm at 1:13:10, 11.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you and I are
Okay.
pretty much
Cool.
synced up at that point, so it's fine. But yeah, please feel free to let us know your favorite things about Star Wars, or maybe you just want to throw some interesting little side things or little tidbits about Adina and her Hollywood crush on Liam Neeson that we haven't heard already. Let us know. We'd be curious. By the way, she's got plenty of plushies for everybody.
I do.
Grogu's and BB-8s to go around for everybody. Yeah, maybe who knows? Maybe I'll bump into a vendor who's going to be selling plushies at their booth tomorrow when we go to Fan Expo Philadelphia to meet all the Star Wars cast members. That'll be fun. So who knows? Maybe I'll get a plushie, and then Adina can add it to her collection of plushies. Who knows? Stranger things have happened at conventions. I'm just saying.
Oh, I have my other.
Do you?
This is well, no, this is not
No.
not Star Wars.
Mhm.
Can I show my other one?
It's fine.
So
It's fine.
I'm also a humongous Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy fan.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
This is my Beeble Bear.
Oh my god. I think Jen's
I
jaw
love
just hit the floor.
it.
Jen's
So
excited.
cute. I
Yeah.
love that.
That's cute.
But by the way, why haven't they tried to adapt that again into a movie?
Because they had failed the first time, didn't they?
Yeah, kind of. But why didn't they try it again after?
I don't know. They
They'll
tried it.
try it if they think it'll make money.
Yeah. Or they can
Uh.
turn. Maybe they can turn it into an animated series that Adina can binge watch. You know,
I'm okay with the books. For that one, I'm okay. They did the movie. There was the original TV series. They did the movie. I'm okay. Sometimes it's okay to leave well enough alone and do something different or new or whatever, or turn my books into,
Well,
a
but
movie.
No, I agree. Turn all of Adina's books into movies and TV shows.
Yeah.
1,000,000%.
Yes.
But then I feel like with certain movies, you can really turn it into a really good streaming show and get a lot of fleshed out. Like I would love to see Treasure Planet as a Disney Plus series.
Wow.
Would love that. I think
Right.
you could do so much with it.
Finally saw that movie. Took me a minute though.
Took you more than a minute, actually.
It did take me more than a minute, but at least I finally got it off my my to-do list that Jen has been throwing in my face every chance she gets. She's like, "Ryan, you got to watch these 5 movies."
It's just like, what's she doing?
Like, why can't you watch these 5 movies I told you to watch on Disney Plus? I go, I did it now. I've watched Treasure Planet, so you can check that one off the list.
So there's another book series I just recently binged on the audiobooks, and I kind of, in my head picture like what this would be like as a series. Are any of you familiar with it's called Magic 2.0 by Scott Meyer? The first book in the series is Off to Be the Wizard.
No, I'm not. I'm actually in my reading series of Sarah Maas right now.
Okay.
Not familiar with that one.
But I will put that down.
Yeah, it's fun. It's
put fun
fun. It's a humorous kind of mix of fantasy. It's this little fantasy sci-fi mix, humorous without any mature content, which I I'm a fan of.
Right.
And it was just it was fun, especially the first 2 books. I thought were really unique and clever.
Okay. I have to write that one down.
No, I'm going to put that on my list because when
Yeah.
I'm done with Sarah's books, I wanted to go to something else.
Essentially, the reason that I asked, like,
Here we go.
Lightsaber duel in the desert.
Oh, no. Lightsaber.
Lightsabers.
What I meant is, 40 years ago, we had Dune by David Lynch. It was terrible, and then now Denis Villeneuve did it again, and it's great. So if they can do the same treatment to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy,
yeah. Well, the movie that came out, I guess it was like 20 something years ago. I didn't hate it. I was
just
okay with it.
didn't
I
do
mean, it was
well.
not like the best movie in the world, but it was also not the worst. And I rewatched it every now and then.
That was a heck of a fight.
I have to say, like after watching Tales of the Jedi, I view this differently.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
Man, what a fight that
Differently
was.
good or differently bad?
No, it just hits different now that we have more context and the story fleshed out. So it just hits differently now. I had that experience when I saw Empire Strikes Back a year ago. We have a rooftop here in the city that opens up for the spring and summer and fall, and they always open up around May. So all Star Wars week or weekend, they always do the movies. So after consuming so much of our newer content, man, to me, Empire Strikes Back hit a lot different with how all these different shows and how things were fleshed out. Just there was a different weight to it to me.
And the Battle of Hoth is iconic, and it's Case's favorite scene. So, or at least one of them, or one of them. It's one of them. It's certainly one of them because you bring it up a lot. So
No, it's brilliant.
It's brilliant. It's great. Flip City Magazine says, "Happy 4th Star Wars Day to all the fans out there, and hail to Ryan, Jen, as well as the rest of the panel." Thank you, Flip City Magazine, also known as Kitty. Good to see you, Kitty. Hope everything's going in your neighborhood. Yep. Speaking of kitties, Luna was in the background a while ago. Not anymore. She's not.
She's moving around.
She's somewhere. She's moved. That cat likes to move around a lot. Nerdy Entrepreneur says, "Yep."
I don't know what that is a response to.
I don't know what that's responding to either there, Lauren. Let us know. Be more specific about it. And now Natalie Portman's like, "Everybody's died. What am I going to do?" It's, she's devastated. And Anakin's about to cry. Are you all right? It's cold. Well, you're in outer space, Annie. Space is cold. Space is very cold.
Well, this is his first time in a starship. I mean, I can't imagine what he's feeling. Getting first time on a starship, out in space.
Leaving
without his mom,
leaving
his mother behind. By the way,
and I don't know what the weather conditions are on Tatooine like, but that's a very quick, drastic change.
Let's be fair. It's 2 suns and a desert planet. I think it's hot. I'm gonna go with hot.
Very, very hot. It's
I
very.
don't
very
know if
hot.
there's humidity along with the heat, like Florida, it's like on steroids.
It's probably a dry heat, but yeah, it's still hot. But I do love the joke in Blue Harvest, one of the Family Guy specials, when they're like, I don't know why they call the planet Hoth. They should have called it Kolth.
Oh my lord! Oh man!
This is why anyone should watch the Family Guy Star Wars special.
This is why I need to sit down and watch these things because I've never seen either one of them. So
and they're very short. They're like 45 minutes to an hour.
Jeez, Case! I got to sit down and watch these now.
Yes.
Are they They're probably streaming on Disney or Hulu
they're
right
Disney
now.
Plus.
They're on Disney Plus. All right. Well, if they're on Disney Plus, I can watch them then. That's Chancellor Valorum Shuttle. Oh, and look over there. Senator Palpatine is waiting for us. You mean the Senator Palpatine?
Anakin is like, who? I don't know who this guy is.
I don't know who these people are.
The person who's going to be grooming you for the rest of your life.
This is going to be your master. You're going to throw him down a shaft one day. You're first going to bow to him, and then you're going to throw him down a shaft. That's how things work, okay?
By the way, Flip City Magazine clarifies something for us. She says, "I call cookies bakies because you baked them."
You know what? That's fair.
Wow.
That is very fair. Bakies.
Bakies because you baked them.
Okay, but by the way, this is the type of stuff that my girlfriend would say.
Oh, wait a minute.
I want a bakey.
Does she say bakey? She doesn't say cookies?
No, well, no, but I'm not saying specifically, but that's the type of stuff my girlfriend would say, so I'm used to this.
I could go for a bakey right now.
Yeah.
A nice chocolate chip bakey.
Speaking of which, were you able to access
I wish I had
popcorn there, Adina? Were you able to get it?
So my husband is asleep,
Oh,
and I messaged my older son, and he's in the middle of playing a video game. So
sorry,
no
Adina,
one's
you're on
bringing
your
me
own.
popcorn.
By the way, Ryan, I think you will like this reference. New before Zod. Darren Stamp.
Yeah, Darren Stamp is in this movie. Yes, he is. Yep.
Yeah, he's in this movie for all of 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
To just get degraded like a chump. Let's be fair.
Yeah. Although I will say, the line that always gets me, not from his character, but when he shows up in part 2 of Superman, is Chris Reeve takes one look at him and says, "General, would you care to step outside?" I mean, come on, so good. And Superman 2 is fantastic. If no one's ever seen it, go and see Superman 2. It's fantastic. Both first
I
two
have
movies are
seen
great.
not
both
know
the theatrical.
What you're doing if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, definitely. We have not done a watch along of Christopher Reeve's Superman movies, Jen. So we'll add that to the list.
Oh,
And-
The
and
one with
I-
Richard
okay,
Pryor. That was my
so that-
favorite. I watched that one a ton.
Are you serious?
Was that
It's-
3?
That's Superman 3. Yeah,
Yeah.
And that one
Yeah.
is not good.
that one is not good. Sadly,
So when I was 10, it was awesome, and I
Mhm.
watched it a lot.
that's fair. Would you watch it today if it was offered to you?
I don't know. So I'm
Hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I probably would just to see, do I remember it the way I remember it?
Richard Pryor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Just wondering if you would watch it again. I don't know.
But
I mean, I would-
Ryan, what
yeah.
year did Superman 2 release?
Superman 2 was 1980, so next year it'll turn 45.
Next year it turns. Okay,
Just
next year.
which is the same year that a little indie film called Empire Strikes Back came out and blew everyone's mind, including
Well,
Adina's
yeah, of
mind.
course.
So
No, but that just means next year you're gonna do 2 watches for Superman 2, one for the regular cut and one for the Donner cut.
yeah, that's yeah, that would be interesting. I don't know if I can do 2 of the same movie. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm sure we'll get plenty of panelists for that one because it's Christopher Reeve, for Pete's sake. A lot of movies. Here.
Ask Chris Jones to be on.
Yeah, we'll get him involved in this, and then we'll get somebody else. I can't remember. But
Who else is
Anyway.
a Superman fan?
We know tons of people outside of this panel who are Superman fans. I mean, even correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't some point a few episodes ago, or maybe many episodes ago, maybe I'm thinking of this wrong. Didn't the big sci-fi podcast talk about Christopher Reeve Superman movies, or am I wrong?
No, we haven't. No, we haven't covered Superman.
Oh,
Yeah.
touche. I thought you did for a minute there. I'm sorry. I was thinking of somebody
I don't
else.
think So, yeah,
My bad.
we could.
Hypothetically, yeah.
Yes.
If you want this guy to be on your show as a guest, feel free to let me know.
Sure.
I'll be more
Let's see.
than-
The one though, there's a tie-in. I listened to.
Yes.
So Gates McFadden, Dr. Crusher, she has her podcast, Investigates, and one of her earliest episodes, she interviewed Jonathan Frakes, and he had some really interesting stories that I'd never heard him tell anywhere else about. He was a early friend, colleague with Christopher Reeve, and like
Wow.
as they kind of came up together, and he kind of like acted as Christopher's he was a friend, but like his assistant for a little bit. And I got to go back and listen to that again. This was already a couple years ago. I heard it, but yeah, they were friends back in the day.
Back in the day.
Yep.
Man, that's so Riker was friends with Superman. That's
Yes.
awesome.
By the way, I want to point something out.
Yes.
In the Jedi Council scene, well, we have a lot of Jedi that are named
A lot
after
of
the
them.
fact. But the one sitting next to Kanan's master, for anyone who knows who Kanan's master is, she's the
Yes, I know who you're talking about.
what's her name? Depa Balaba. I think she has like an Indian look, and she has like a red dot on her forehead. The one sitting next to it is an alien character that then in Attack of the Clones had such a different look that they decided to make them 2 separate characters, even though they tried to make the same character because the look was completely different.
So many fun facts.
I know it's a long story.
It is a long story. And Flip City Magazine says, bakies.
Right.
Known as cookies. Also known as
Right.
cookies. And we all know that Adina likes chocolate chip cookies. So,
Yeah.
cookies, which is Cookie Monster. Bless that Muppet's heart. Cookie Monster is so iconic. Gosh.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, Adina's going to be adding a Cookie Monster plushie to her repertoire. So, who knows? Maybe we'll get her one. Maybe we'll find her one.
One
Who
of the
knows?
first albums I ever had was a Sesame Street, and C is for Cookie. The song, was on it.
Really?
The first actually,
Oh, wow.
albums I ever owned.
Are you serious?
We're talking about in 1979.
79? That's going back a few years.
Yes.
Goodness gracious.
50, remember.
C is for cookie.
Uh-huh.
E.T. is about to show up.
Yeah, apparently
Yay!
E.T. is canon now, or canon for 25 years. Isn't that
Yep,
insane?
he's been canon.
He's been canon. Where does he show up though?
A little later when they're all just yelling over one another.
Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah. Well, I'm looking for it, but anyway.
It's coming up.
Chancellor of Valorum. 2 minutes of screen time. I present Queen Amidala, recently elected ruler of the Naboo, who speaks on our behalf.
Oh,
Man.
and another Jedi in the previous scene, the one with the long neck called Uriel Poof, might appear in the Acolyte because he's alive by that time.
Yes, I
forgot
believe
about
he is going to appear.
Yeah. In addition to Yoda.
Is this Keira Knightley in this scene?
No, this is Natalie.
Oh, it is Natalie. Okay.
Yeah. When it's Natalie when Anakin goes to see Padme and they said, "I'm sorry, she's not here today. It's because she's getting prepared."
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
Oh, is that who? What? Okay. A little bit of a switch there. I apologize, but there you go. On the payroll.
Yeah, honestly, on the makeup, it's difficult to make a distinction between the two.
It's so interesting to see this again now because of just how so sly the Emperor is and how he's really controlling everything, every single move, the decisions, what to say to people, the manipulation.
I love how during the Red Letter Media review, he keeps saying Palpatine is behind it all.
Palpatine is behind it all. Let's get him. Get him. Get him. That was your plan the whole time, wasn't it? Get her. Which we'll discuss later when we celebrate the 40th anniversary of Ghostbusters. I can't believe that.
E.T.'s coming up.
Here he comes.
Right. There.
Oh, I see it. I see it.
Yeah.
I got it, Case.
There they are.
Oh, now they will elect a new chancellor. A strong chancellor. Strong leader. One who will not let our tragedy continue. The boy will not pass the council's test, master. He's too old. Yeah, you call 9 years old too old? Get out of here, pal. Anakin will become a Jedi. I promise you. Do not defy the council, master. Not again. I shall do what I must, Obi-Wan. Where's your yippee here, Adina? I thought I was going to hear you say that. Never
Sorry,
mind.
I'm still processing that I just saw E.T. in Star Wars.
That's what she's doing the last 5 minutes. A ship.
Star Wars.
A cup. A ship. Speeder. I'll feel you. Cold, sir. Because you've never been in space.
Oh, by the way, there's a meme about a burn which I absolutely love, and I can tell you in just a moment.
Oh. Now I'm
See
curious.
through you, we can. Mindful of your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts dwell in your mother.
Very
My
true.
thoughts dwell in your mother.
Good Lord. What does that got to do with anything?
Everything.
Fear is the path to the dark side.
Oh, here it comes.
Anger leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
A lot of these things you can say in the real world too, and it's pretty much true.
It's really relatable. It's one of the reasons why I love Star Wars. It's just the relatability of the characters, the story, the lessons.
Mm-hmm. I sense much fear in you. But as we all know, Adina is fearless with all these books she's got out now, and pretty soon they're going to be turned into series on Netflix. So a lot of good things are coming her way. That's
I am here for it.
Yeah. We'll watch all the series, buy all the books. We'll be there for Adina when she needs us most. It happens all the time. Brian says J.J. Abrams paid homage to Star Wars within the Star Trek 2009 movie. R2-D2.
I still have not found this.
I didn't know that either.
What?
Floats by the
Yeah,
screen
he does,
during the
yeah.
course of a battle scene in Star Trek 2009.
How do I did not know that.
Which-
Learning all
Oh,
kinds of
YouTube
things.
hunting.
This right here is one of my favorite memes of the movie.
Or Brian, if you could just give us the link since you're here, that would
Yeah,
be very
send us the
helpful.
link, man.
Please and thank you.
Your Majesty, if I am elected, I promise to put an end to corruption, even though I'm going to corrupt every single person in this room.
Ha! You will bring an end to corruption? Ha!
I know, right?
Really?
Create a
You
strong
don't
sense of
say.
trust. I will be Chancellor. Look at that
Yeah,
swagger he
my
carries.
mom was freaking out every time she would saw him. She was like, oh my god.
Oh, jeez. By the way, Lauren says all these new facts are coming in today in the studio.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
I know.
We know things. We hear things. Brian knows things that I didn't even know existed. And then Brian likes to throw Adina under the bus a little bit with all his fun comments. But hey, it's all in good fun, though. It's all in good fun. I wish I could be a fly on the wall the next time they record a podcast episode so all the Liam Neesonisms can come out.
I'm just looking forward to when it comes out because I'm going to be listening to like, here we go.
That's what's going to happen to Adina on this episode of Big Sci-Fi Podcast. I pray you will bring sanity and compassion back to the Senate.
Oh, the cut here is really good because just as it wipes, there's a little smile, very little.
Oh, I noticed. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Case, I know.
Very slight. Oh, so good.
He is to be trained then?
No.
He will not be trained. No. He is too old. Which is such a lame excuse.
It is.
It's the dumbest excuse I've ever heard in my life. He is the chosen one. You must see it. How did this boy's future is? I will train him then. I take Anakin as my Padawan learner.
By the way, if there ever is a Star Wars What If series, like what Marvel did with What If,
yes,
this needs to be one of the What If stories. What if Qui-Gon had trained Anakin?
I would pay money to see that. I would.
There are honestly a couple of very interesting What If scenarios.
A lot of people have expressed those feelings on social media, including Jen and the Star Wars Galaxy or Universe group on Clubhouse, too.
What was that? I was listening to that.
Oh, sorry. We were talking about the idea that Star Wars has a lot of room to play with in terms of stories. A Star Wars What If series.
Oh my gosh, yes. I need a Star Wars What If series. There's so many things you could do. Brian came through. Thank you!
All right, someone copy and post that link somewhere. Brian, feel free to send that to me on the DMs on Facebook, man. There it is.
You're asking him to slide into your DMs?
Nah, if you want to go that route, fine.
I mean, you're the one who used the verbiage.
It's true. But yeah, just send it to me in a DM there, Brian. I'm just saying, brother.
Would you kindly message
Ryan? Never mind. Jeez.
So I know it's not a what if, but
No.
are you guys familiar with the Star Wars Shakespeare series?
Yes.
I've seen copies of it, but I've never read it.
That's
so
fun.
good.
It's fun. Listen to it in audio. I feel like it's better listened to than actually reading.
Yeah.
Okay. I have to keep that in mind. I believe those maybe both. The books and the audiobooks may be on sale because it's May the 4th be with you. So
it might be. Yeah.
Someone's gonna have to look that. I'll have to look that up. See if I can. I have been curious to read or hear Star Wars in Shakespearean language. That's interesting. It's interesting to me. It's a bit odd, but at the same time. And then, oh gosh, Brian says, "Let's get back to Liam Neeson."
More Liam Neeson.
Neeson.
Okay. Unfortunately, he is probably explaining the most boring and annoying thing that I've ever heard.
Midi-chlorians, guys, cover your ears.
I don't like it.
I'm not a fan of the midichlorians. I'm now curious about this is making Bad Batch kind of move up on like my watch list.
I would say, with what they unpack in that show, it really does change the narrative. And when it comes to the cloning, Project Necromancer, and just how more valuable and important Grogu is.
Okay.
Yeah, because it does tie into the Mandalorian in that regard as well.
Here it is.
So basically, starting this week, Adina and I are going to be sitting down watching Tales of the Empire, and then right after that, we're going to watch all 3 seasons of Bad Batch.
So much.
Yes.
And then and then Adina and I are going to text Case and Jen and tell them how much what we thought of these series.
Please do.
Yeah. Misa going home. We're going home, guys. We're going back to Naboo, where this whole thing started. We're going back. We're going to lights.
Okay, and also, this plan makes no sense to me, the entire plan. Because at the beginning of the movie, according to the crawl, there are 2 Jedi sent to Naboo to ascertain the situation. And they're like, okay, what is the situation? Oh, Naboo's being blocked. Oh, that's bad. So let's go back then. So the Jedi are literally sent there to see if there is a blockade. If there is a blockade, then the Republic will step in. So they go back to the Republic. They report to the Republic. Yeah, there's a situation. They blockaded it. Everything's going to shit. Okay, so what do? They again sent the same Jedi back to it. They don't send a strike force of the Republic. No, they just sent the same Jedi back to the same place. Great plan, y'all.
They were so disturbed about Anakin, they just distracted the rest of the first plot.
I was gonna say, search your feelings, Case. Share your feelings.
Look, I do like this movie, but it's got flaws.
Oh, it's got flaws a mile long. We all know this.
No, that's a valid point, because I really thought, for me, the beginning of the film with what and how it starts out, it is very interesting. It does give a lot of intrigue and how we start out, where we're at in the timeline, and where we're going. So, yeah.
Oh, so much happens. You know what else is happening? The celebration of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace with a watch-along. We are currently at 1 hour, 38 minutes, and 27 seconds into this movie. So if you want to queue up your copy on physical media or that streaming service that shall not be named because it's hashtag not a sponsor of this show, but if they want to be, call me, maybe. Let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. Don't forget to like and share this so everyone you know if you're watching this live or what is known as a replay. Thank you so much for being here, and we thank anyone and everyone who's listening or watching this, and also we thank our panelists for being with us, because my gosh, do they ever have fun facts to share with you, and we got plushies for everybody at the end of the night. So
No,
great.
I'm not giving anyone my plushies. No,
we're not. I'm not saying you're giving away your. I'm just saying we're going to have other plushies involved in this scenario.
Yeah, he's gonna go to the.
Yeah, I'm going to the Comic-Con tomorrow. I'll buy everyone plushies and I'll mail them to you. Or something.
You get plushies. You get plushies. You get plushies. Everybody.
Adina's going to have a new plushie in her collection. I don't know. Probably.
Everybody gets a plushie.
It's a plushie. So.
Everything is plushy.
Oh God. All right, that needs to be included on the next episode of either Meeting a Fandom, or we need to put it on the podcast.
This is Keira Knightley in the Amidala garb. This is Keira.
Yeah, because then the actual Padme steps in that, no, she is the fake one.
Yes, but in this case, it's Keira Knightley wearing the outfit. I can't believe it. This still boggles my mind that before she was known as Keira Knightley that we all know today, this was Keira Knightley. This is insane.
Hey, everyone started somewhere.
No, it's great. It's fantastic. I'm just saying that it's hard for me to see, because she's wearing the makeup and the dress and the outfits and all this other kind of stuff. But it's interesting to me. She shows up in this movie, and then years later, she does the Disney film Robin Hood, Princess of Thieves, playing Robin Hood's daughter. And then a few years after that, she's in Pirates of the Caribbean.
And in the same year, also Love Actually.
Well, yes.
She had a big 2003, honestly.
She did. She had that, and she had Love Actually. You're right. Which I need to sit down and watch Love Actually, because I've never actually seen it.
Yeah.
And then she does Elizabeth Bennet in Pride and Prejudice in 2005. She plays the Duchess.
The Duchess, yeah.
She has like a really good resume of all the films she has done.
I see a pattern of period pieces for her. She's done a lot of period pieces.
At a certain time in her life, yeah.
Who's these?
I am Queen Amidala. This is my decoy, also known as Keira Knightley.
Let's look at Qui-Gon's face. Where's Qui-Gon?
There it is. What? Did he know the whole time that she was?
No, like they look at each other like, oh. He's like remembering everything he says to her. Just over like, oh crap.
Yeah, I've said some nasty things to the Queen. Now I beg you to help us. Our fate is in your hands. There's a very symbolic scene here, to a certain degree, about how two different races and two different different groups of people can come together for a common cause.
It's relatable, isn't it?
Which is brought up heavily in the book How the Force Can Fix the World, written by Stephen Kent, in case you haven't read that yet.
I'm so proud of Stephen.
You might want to write that one down, Adina. It's a very good book.
More homework.
I gave it a 5-star review on Goodreads.com.
Later than the Gungans.
I say this phrase a lot.
Yes, me too.
Misa, we should stop being friends.
There it goes.
Anyway, Brian says, I got to put my kids to bed, unfortunately. Thanks for entertaining me while I cleaned the house. You guys rock. Concerning tonight's watch-along, yippee! Thank you, Brian. Appreciate you, man. Take it easy. Have a great night. Be safe out there.
Thanks
Give our best
for
to your
hanging
family. Hope to see you on the next episode of either Movie Watch Along, or maybe we'll catch you on another episode of the Nerdy Cantina when the Acolyte debuts in June. Or maybe you'll be on the Meaning of Fandom and share one of your favorite fandoms with us.
By the way, this is a bit of a sin. Turning off the movie before we get to the Darth Maul fight.
Well, he has to put the kids to bed, man.
I know.
Being a parent is hard work.
You got to do what you got to do.
Look,
Yeah.
I understand that, but as a Star Wars fan,
It's like, Brian,
I am hurt. Okay,
Brian is a Star Wars fan. He has to put the kids to bed, and he chooses that over Darth Maul's scene.
The day you become a dad, you will fully understand.
When I was a parent, I was at I would see the things the second they would come out, all this stuff. Now, no, really, it just like even my beloved Star Trek, I can't always watch the new episode the day it comes out.
Look, I'm just joking. Okay,
It has to wait.
I'm just joking. I don't know I don't know the next thing about parenting, and I probably never will. So that's fine.
It does change things. It really.
You think?
You can still be a geek. You can still be your geeky, nerdy self, but the time scale changes a little bit, as other priorities come into the picture.
Not only that, all your free time is pretty much gone.
Yeah, I like my free
yes
time.
and no. But it changes. You have to find different times. It does get sucked up. You have to find different times. But when your little one looks at you with his big blue eyes and is like, "Mommy, can we watch Star Trek?" Now he's doing it because he knows that is the best and only way to get additional screen time.
Oh,
but
geez.
still, it's the best.
That's fair. I mean, they probably.
When I have kids one day, if my kids tell me, "Mommy, can we watch Star Wars?" Oh,
you're gonna be like, "Oh yes, absolutely."
It's like, but that means we
Mommy, can we watch Star Wars?
I know what you're doing, but
Exactly.
yes, we can.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
It's like, I know what you're doing, but because it's Star Wars and you're going to be raised right in this house,
And because it's Star Trek, we're gonna watch it anyway. So, by the way, have the kids? I mean, I'm assuming the kids have seen most of these already. If they haven't, that's understandable too, because certain ratings are different. Have they seen First Contact?
Oh, First Contact, Star Wars. I'm sorry, Star Trek First Contact.
Have they seen it yet, or no?
My older son has seen. My older son's probably, even if he hasn't really digested it, I think he's been in front of all the movies. My younger one, no,
Not so much.
My younger one knows The Whale. Like, actually, he sat through, very surprisingly, he sat through the whole Star Trek 4. And
The
he
Voyage
watched,
Home.
And when he asks for it, I actually put on original series episodes with him, and he will sit through them. And he sits through some Next Generation episodes with me too.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Mr. Scott, ready to beam up. Yeah. Anyway.
My older one, though, is a huge Lower Decks fan.
Oh, Lower Decks.
Yes, Lower Decks.
And that is it's
yeah.
a gateway drug into Star, because even though he's been, Star Trek's been on the background his whole life, he's never really got, into it until Lower Decks. But it's great because it's an excuse for me to get him to watch older episodes. I'm like, oh, you want to understand where that came from? Well, we got to go watch, this episode. That's been awesome.
Well, fantastic.
Okay, and I'm just curious now. Who's your captain?
So I'm allowed to love them all for different reasons.
Yeah.
What?
I don't have to. I don't choose favorites because it's like asking me, which is my favorite kid. I love them all for different reasons, but I was a teenager when Next Generation was on, so that skews a little bit above everything else.
I mean, honest to God, the line must be drawn here, this far, no further. Picard's my man. He's my captain. Star Trek First Contact is what got me into Star Trek in the first place. So, hence the reason it's called First Contact. Hello. That's my number one. Always has been, always will be. And I got a Star Trek First Contact framed, theatrically sized poster on my wall right over here right now. So, in the words of our good friend the Borg, resistance is futile. So,
I'll say my favorite captain is Picard, but my favorite show is DS9.
So DS9 with Captain Sisko over there. Yeah. Which, by the way, there's an award-winning book that's been out for a number of months, if not almost a year now. It's called The Autobiography of Benjamin Sisko, written by Derek Tyler Attico. Definitely check out that book. That man is a genius. That man is a Star Warsian and a Star Trekian at the same time. He has been on an episode of Anti-Quote, which you can follow on the Anti-Quote playlist on our YouTube channel. He is one of the most coolest dudes and guests we've ever had on the program. And Derek if you're watching this, we got to bring you back, brother, because your knowledge of Star Trek and Star Wars is awesome. So we got to get Derek back. He's got a great.
He's like Sam Witwer in that regard.
To a certain degree, I think. Probably almost on that level, yeah. But if you're a Sisko or DS9 fan, check out the book, The Autobiography of Benjamin Sisko. Free plug for you, Derek. Free plug, man. You're welcome. And by the way, I think Derek is going to be with us at Shore Leave in the month of July. So, yeah, if he's there, then Adina, Derek, myself, we'll hang out. We'll swap ideas. We'll make podcasts. We'll make magic happen. It'll be a lot of fun. Guaranteed. Shore Leave is always a good time with company, for sure. Oh, here's the blockade run, guys. Here comes the blockade run.
A lot of talk about Star Trek. Let's focus on Duel of the Fates.
Well, it's coming up. It's coming.
It's coming. Almost.
Yeah, they're firing at the shield, though.
Almost there.
I understood that reference.
I know you did.
I know you did. Yeah.
Ouch time.
Steady. Steady. Misa want to be steady. Oh, here come the droids. Am I the only person who's met Ray Park in person, or is someone else on this panel met him?
Oh, congratulations, Ryan.
No? Okay. I met him. He was cool. We did a force pose in the pro photo op, which you can find on my Facebook page.
Nice.
Okay, so Ryan, can you at least tell me that when you heard him talk, you understood why he didn't do the voice for Maul in these movies?
Yeah, he's got a very different kind of accent. So, yeah.
He's very, very British.
Yes. Not that that's a bad thing, by the way.
I don't know, but
just throwing that out there.
Not the right voice for the character.
For the character, yeah. Mm-hmm. Way to go, Sam Witwer.
Oh, he's great.
I've met Sam Witwer, too. He's fantastic. He's great. Ouch time.
Ah, there it is.
There it is. Yeah,
it's a little premature with it.
Here they come, marching droids, walking right in there. And Adina's like, look at all these droids. They're about to get destroyed. Yeah. Why would you hurt my droids? Fire! What are those, EMP blasts? Maybe? EMP?
EMP, electromagnetic pulse.
That's right.
That's from Goldeneye.
Yes, electromagnetic pulse, full strike, satellite weapon that was launched against the during the Cold War. I read the brief.
Oh gosh.
And that movie turns 30 next year, which we're going to be celebrating that in grand style.
Yes, for sure.
Red group, blue group.
All right, here we go.
Anakin, stay there. You'll be safe. You'll be safe there. But stay in that cockpit.
Stay in that cockpit.
Oh, here it comes.
I mean, he pretty much told him to go fly the ship. Stay in the cockpit. That's the same thing.
Look at the look on that man's face. We'll take the long way. That is the pure.
So good.
This is pure evil that they're staring in the face right now. Just pure evil, 100%. Way to go, John Williams. We love you, man.
I'm so happy he decided to come out of retirement.
Yeah. It's a dual-bladed lightsaber.
Oh my god!
I love the little video that comes around with this scene on top where he turns on the double lightsaber and it's like this wrestling match with the commentators going, "Oh my god!"
With Joe Rogan.
Oh my god!
With Joe Rogan, yeah, it was Joe Rogan.
I love it every time I see it.
It was with Joe Rogan. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
yeah.
It's hilarious. So I love it. Double-bladed lightsaber and everyone loses their shit.
I mean, like, it's the first time we've seen it
ever
in this movie.
in the history of Star Wars. That's one way to get rid of droids right there, by just blasting them with your ship there, or a Naboo starfighter, excuse me. Let's go. It's on automatic pilot. It's on automatic pilot. Oh my god.
This is the beginning of Anakin and R2. This is so good.
Try to override it. Puts on the helmet. Oh, here we go, baby. It's on, Jen. It's on. Oh.
Oh wow.
First time John Williams included operatic singers for this.
Yeah.
It's genius. Look at the look on his face. He is just ready to kill these dudes. Oh, wish I could hear this live in front of a screen with a full.
I want to do that experience.
Yeah, we
going to
got to
a
get
live
on that.
orchestra and seeing these films with a live orchestra.
And I quote channel in the Big Sci-Fi podcast. Go to the Meyerhoff Symphony Hall and see this on a big screen with a full orchestra.
Rocking Your Balls will be the third wheel on that.
Yeah,
one.
let's do that, Adina. Let's put that on the books.
There they are.
Yeah,
We're not too far from Wolf Trap in Northern Virginia, and they've
really?
done orchestral Star Wars in the past, orchestral stuff.
Have you
like that.
experienced that?
No, I have friends who went.
Okay. Well, I guess me, you, and the rest of the crew at Big Sci-Fi, we need to make a road trip.
Mm-hmm.
Get off me, get the droid off me. Paching. Goodness gracious.
Yeah,
This
they have
works.
a Star Wars: A New Hope in concert.
Oh, New Hope in concert. Take all my money.
Saturday, July 13th.
Oh, which is 2 weeks before shore leave. Oh, it's on a Saturday? Oh, that's even
It's
better.
on Saturday, July 13th at Wolf Trap. Star Wars: A New Hope in concert at Wolf. Yeah.
Please
So
send me
that's Northern Virginia.
Please send me the link to that. I could probably make a road trip out of that. Go down there with a friend of mine. I have a friend who lives in Virginia. I could probably. Qui-Gon told me to stay in this cockpit, so that's what I'm going to do.
See, I told him, he practically told him to just go fly the ship.
Go joyriding. Have fun, kid.
Why don't you try spinning? That's a good trick.
I love it.
Go spin. Why don't we just spin the ship around for a bit? Yeah,
Because it's a good trick. I also love how that comes back in the Clone Wars at one point when Obi-Wan and Anakin are busting each other's balls, and Obi-Wan is like, Anakin, flying, spinning, it's not flying. Anakin is like, that's a good trick.
So good.
That's funny. I did not know that. Goodness gracious.
What's the Clone Wars?
Well, I've seen certain episodes of Clone Wars, just not all 7 seasons.
Well, okay, then Ryan, watch all 120-something episodes in chronological order.
Oh.
Believe me, chronological order makes it better.
I think I'll just stick with Adina as I plan to watch Tales of the Empire and Bad Batch and call it a day. But what we're not going to... sorry, Duel of the Fates is playing.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, that shuts him up.
Well, I was going to do a plug, but I'll do it in a minute.
Oof.
Sorry.
It's sometimes difficult to get you to shut up during these podcasts.
I'm sorry.
I'm honestly like wondering, what does it? Okay, Duel of the Fates playing.
Mm-hmm.
Taking notes.
I write this one down. Thank you, John Williams. That's a heck of a force jump, though.
Yep, I can do that. Okay, this is your moment.
Yeah. As Duel of the Fates is pieces of it anyway are playing. This is Star Wars Episode 1: The Phantom Menace, 25th anniversary watch along. We are currently 1 hour, 56 minutes, and 32 seconds into this movie. So if you want to queue up your copy on physical media or streaming service, please feel free to do so. Let us know your favorite things about Star Wars inside and out in the comments below. Don't forget to like and share this with every single person that you know. And if you're watching this live or on the replay, we thank you all for being. We thank you for being here. We thank our guests for being here with us as well. And the shield has been destroyed, which means the Gungans are SOL. Or are they?
I really love the moment when those ray shields cut them off, because you have 3 different dynamics. You have the impatience of Maul, because he's just pacing and staring him down.
Oh, yeah.
Then you have the wisdom of Qui-Gon, where he's just like, okay, I am going to meditate. And then you have the young Padawan, Obi-Wan Kenobi's like, okay,
You ready to go?
I'm ready.
Ready. I'm ready for my close-up,
By the
Mr.
way,
Mill.
I also really loved how they essentially brought that back into Knights of the Old Republic when they explained lightsaber colors. Like, if you have a green lightsaber, you're like that. Like, you meditate, and you actually, as your character, you get asked questions like, what would you do in a certain situation? And you have options, and those options essentially are what your lightsaber color should be, and that is your character as well. So the more patient ones, the ones who meditate, like Qui-Gon, have a green lightsaber. That's why Qui-Gon has a green one. If you have a blue one, you're indeed like more action driven, like you want to get in there. If you have a yellow one, you're more smarter and tactical about certain situations. Like you would try to maybe lower the force field through some, like by slicing it or something. And I thought that was a very good explanation, actually. And it's unfortunate that's not canon anymore.
Can you have an ombre?
What?
Like one that, like, yellow turning to green? I think I need a yellow turns to green or green turns to yellow.
Well,
we've actually never seen that in Star Wars.
I know. I've never seen it in Star Wars 2, but by that explanation, that's what I want. I want a combined.
Okay, I got you.
Well, see, like this is where I really love the Ninth Jedi Star Wars Visions. What they did with lightsabers, the lightsaber lore in that one, how the kyber crystal responds to the user of the Force. So it's not just you find a green kyber crystal, you get a blue kyber crystal. It just whatever your connection to the Force is, it responds to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I like to think I'd have a yellowy green one.
No, that's what I was getting to. That would be your unique connection to the Force, because there's one character in that episode, along with the other Sith, that's not really a Sith, but gets consumed by the darkness. But as that character's fighting, you see the lightsaber go back to purple.
Okay.
As they're defeating the Sith. So I really liked that.
By the way, you said Visions?
Star Wars Vision Season 1, The Ninth Jedi.
Yeah, not canon. Sorry.
I know, but still, I just what I watched, it was like, you know what? If they were to change it, I would like it to be like this.
Pivotal moment happening here.
Oh,
Between Darth
nice.
Maul and Qui-Gon.
Here comes.
And in the episode of Star Wars Rebels where Obi-Wan and Maul fight again, Maul tries the exact same move, but Obi-Wan blocks it and therefore wins it.
I love when the actor who does, I think it's Obi-Wan or someone
Steven
who
Stanton.
Yeah, how he explains it. It's so beautifully explained. I love it.
Mm-hmm. That was a heck of an episode of Rebels, too.
Oh, it's so powerful.
When Maul finally gets to him after all these years, I'm like, Kenobi! Like, it's just... Ugh.
He was just
crazy.
raging.
And Sam Witwer voices him brilliantly.
Oh.
He always does.
He always does, but when he did the impression at Celebration 2 years ago, or whatever it was, that was one of the best clips of the whole weekend.
Lost. I am lost. Kenobi. It's awesome.
It's great, isn't it? Hey, after her, this one's a decoy. Your occupation here has ended. Captain. Oh, look, they got 2 blasters in the throne room. How about that?
And she would know about that, but because it's her throne room.
Mm-hmm. Blasting everything in sight, and then they jam the doors, I believe. Yeah, they jam the doors. Thank you. Jam the doors. And now, Viceroy, we will discuss a new treaty.
Oh, for anyone who might be interested, what happened to Panaka after this? He became an Imperial Moth.
I was not aware of that.
It's in one of the Claudia Gray books.
Oh, it is in one of Claudia's books. Well, she's a great writer, isn't she?
Yeah,
brilliant. Which reminds me, I still have to read her book, Bloodline, about General Leia.
Yes, you should. It's so good.
Yeah, I got to read Bloodline, man.
There you go.
This is a heck of a lightsaber duel we got between these two.
Mm-hmm. I want to get everyone's opinion on this because I was discussing this earlier with the other group about this. One of the things we talked about was when this movie first came out, someone commented that you really got to see the true power of the lightsaber and why it was such a unique, powerful Force weapon.
Mm-hmm.
How it could cut through doors, Like, little things like that. And some of these people thought, with how that has changed with the newer content, it doesn't feel the same like it was in Phantom Menace. What do you all think about that?
I should probably not
I didn't think it
say
was
what
that big of a, I think the more impactful thing in this movie, at least at the time, was not the cutting through door. I don't know. That didn't strike me as anything. I mean, it's a big laser. But the dual, I remember the dual one was like, wait, that you could have more, so you have like a more fighting angle. So the cutting through, I don't know. I kind of like what you're saying about that, but I don't remember having any strong, like, ooh, it's cutting. Like, it was like, it didn't phase. I don't remember it phasing me or anyone.
I mean, being as young as I was, I thought that was really cool to see a lightsaber do that, but then it makes sense because it's so unique. Why wouldn't it do that?
Right.
Little kid saves the day, and all these pilots are like, "Yeah, the Mars out of the main hold."
Anakin did his little starship blow up, and then Luke follows suit with the Death Star, like father, like son.
That's a valid point.
It's like poetry; it rhymes.
It's poetry,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And then you get the classic line later on in Return of the Jedi: "I am a Jedi, like my father before me."
Exactly, he is.
Way to go, Luke. Way to go. That's a great line too. Return of the Jedi. That's a good one. There's a lot, but then again, there's a lot of good things in that original trilogy that we could talk about for ages.
Oh yeah.
Which we'll do next year when Empire Strikes Back turns 45. And Force Awakens turns 10 next year. So there you go.
But anyway, for anyone who has not seen the Clone Wars or Rebels or anything, he's fine. He lives after this.
Yeah, he's fine.
What's the Clone Wars?
Yes.
Maul's fine. Darth Maul's fine. Promise me you will train the boy. Yes, master. He is the chosen one. Train him. I was so bummed that they killed him. I was so bummed. So bummed.
I mean, again, it's poetry. It rhymes. It's like Obi-Wan dying in the original Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, it's more, I think, credence to what we were talking about earlier this evening about why is he even here? The fact that they kill him off, it just adds to he was probably never necessary for this movie. Again, as much as I love to see Liam Neeson, he was probably never necessary for this movie at all.
No.
And yeah. So I was bummed that they killed him, kind of like wait, you gave him to us and now you're taking him away? Really?
Yeah. But he does live on in the comic book.
And George Lucas taketh away.
Kind of pulls a Raiders on you, right? Like Belloc. Again, there's nothing you can possess which I cannot take away. And you thought I had given up.
I watched that movie yesterday.
Oh, did you? You watched Raiders yesterday?
Yeah, because the thing is, I'm going to go on vacation soon, and I don't know if I have a time to watch it before we do the watch along the other two. And
right, of Temple of Doom and Last Crusade, yeah. Yeah, fun fact, Temple of Doom turns the big 4-0 later this year, ladies and gentlemen, and so does Last Crusade turning 35.
So we're doing watch-alongs.
For both of them.
Both in the same weekend, in a month or so.
Yeah, which that's going to be a long weekend.
But I made you do it.
That's going to be a long freaking weekend, man.
But we're going to do it. It's going to work.
Well, we should watch your career with great interest.
And the moment he taps him on the shoulder, that's when he chose him.
I know, right?
This shall be my next apprentice.
Yeah. But choosing this boy as your Padawan learner, I do not. Qui-Gon believed in him. The chosen one, the boy may be. Nevertheless, grave danger I fear in his training.
Oh, by the way,
that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yoda, I just wanted to say, CGI Yoda is so much better than puppet Yoda in this movie.
Really?
To each their own. I would have preferred the puppet.
I thought the puppet looked very awkward when I first saw this.
It might be because I grew up with Puppet Yoda, but I really like.
I feel the same way as Adina when it first came out. When I saw the practical prop of Yoda, I lost my marbles.
Wow.
I think Puppet Yoda in the original trilogy and The Last Jedi is perfect. In this movie, when I saw him, I thought it looked very awkward. And the moment that I saw the CG version, I'm like, this is better. Maybe a hot take.
Yeah. Frank Oz had a lot of difficulty filming the scenes for Phantom Menace because of the situation he was in with this, but they went back, fixed it, and gave it CGI. So,
what situation was he in?
Frank Oz was doing the performance of Yoda for Phantom Menace, and it was very difficult for him to do it because the puppet was made out of a different material than it was back in Empire Strikes Back. So it was a lot heavier than what he was used to. So he was sweating a lot more. He was getting tired an awful lot. And Frank Oz was getting up in age anyway. So it's not easy for him to perform this character under the circumstances that he was placed in. So I feel bad for him, but at the same time, I was happy that he did come back for the puppet version of Yoda in Episode 1, and then they take it out years later and just replace him with a CGI version. So,
all right.
I don't know. That's behind the scenes story that I heard. Adina, you had a thought earlier. What was that thought?
Now I don't know. It's okay.
Darn it.
I just wanted to say this this victory song is a very cheerful, upbeat version of the
Return of
Emperor's
the Jedi.
theme. Yeah.
I always thought that sounded familiar.
Yeah. By the way, Brian Thomas Donahue apparently woke up from the dead. He says, "What if Mr. T had been cast instead of Samuel L. Jackson as Mace Windu?"
God no.
Do you mean Mr. T or do you mean Ice-T?
I think he's talking about Mr. T himself.
Mr. T from A-Team,
the A-Team.
Right?
Do you remember the A-Team?
Yeah.
I remember the A-Team.
Yes, I
Maybe the
do.
fool.
I don't know. I think it should have maybe Ice-T. I don't think Mr. T. I think maybe Ice-T.
Ice-T?
Mm-hmm.
You mean Finn Tutuola of Law & Order SVU?
Mm-hmm.
He's a good actor, by the way, on SVU.
Yeah. Yes.
He's really good. Finn Tutuola, or we just call him Finn.
Yeah, I like Mr. T, but I don't think he's a fantastic actor. I like him, but he's got he's one note character. You know, he's Mr. T.
I pity the fool. Yeah,
and that's
I pity the fool who ain't no Jedi.
Have the range that Sam Jackson has.
Hey, look, Anakin got a haircut.
Yeah, he did.
Got a haircut. Look at that. Cleaned himself up, don't you think?
And even from a kid, he does the side smile Anakin always does.
And then he says, "Peace." With the glove.
Oh, and for the people who want to stick around until the end of the credits, at the very end, you have Anakin's theme playing. It transitions into the Imperial March, and you hear Darth Vader breathing.
Wow, talk about a bonus.
Oh, good.
That's a nice bonus. But I do want to let you know, for those of you maybe watching or listening to this presentation, we've officially reached the end credits of Star Wars, Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. And originally in the backstage area of this studio, Adina said, I don't know if I can stay for the whole time. She ended up staying the entirety of this movie.
Past my bedtime. We're
which is way past your bedtime on a Saturday evening, going into Sunday morning for some.
Look, it was for Liam Neeson.
It was for, it's her Hollywood crush. It's her number one crush of all time, so she had to do it. Ladies and gentlemen,
seen this movie in so long.
Yeah, I haven't seen this movie in a long time either. So Dina and I are kind of in the same boat here. But this has been fun. This has been enjoyable. But I got to go around the horn here because I'm very curious. 25 years later, we're looking at Star Wars Episode 1 specifically, The Phantom Menace. Adina, what is this film like to you? What are your thoughts on this movie overall? And secondly, what do you give it on a scale of 1 to 10?
Ooh. Well, I think my thoughts are still pretty much what they were. I generally like the movie. My strong negative reaction is really only to the midichlorians thing, but I am willing to rethink that based on my homework assignment to watch Bad Batch and then, ask me. On a scale of 1 to 10, and I usually define that as like 10, I could potentially watch it every day, where 1 is I never want to see it again. I think we're in like a 6-ish range. Like I could see it again, maybe watch this one with my kids, but I'm not like, oh gosh, I have to see this all the time.
I see that. And we appreciate you sticking with us, even if it's long past one's bedtime. Yeah, we're adults here. There are no bedtimes, but okay, that's fine. We'll let it slide. I'm just saying. Jen, my good friend Jen, who had a brand new episode of her podcast, which she'll talk about here in a few minutes. Jen, what are your thoughts on Phantom Menace overall on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 being hot garbage, 10 being a masterpiece like the Mona Lisa. What are you going to give episode 1, The Phantom Menace?
I think it still holds up after all of these years. I enjoy it. It was my first Star Wars movie in a theater, even though I grew up with the originals from when I was a young kid. So that's always going to hold a special place in my heart. So I'm going to give it an 8 for me.
Wow. Going into 8 territory. Wham. Talk about a difference between, it's all right, I give it a 6. No, it's an 8. It's solid.
Yeah, it gets an 8.
That's it. By the way, Brian.
Oh, wow.
Brian Thomas Donahue says, I'm going to give this movie 4 stars. Brian, I don't know what movie you're watching, but if that's the way you want to go with this.
Is that 4 out of 10 or is that 4 out of 5? Because we usually
Can you clarify
2 out of 5.
Brian, can you clarify for this in the chat, please? By the way, we have a cute cat alert on camera 3. Who is this?
This is Cal.
This is Cal. Say hello to Cal, everybody. Hello.
Hi, Cal.
Good to see you, buddy. You look fabulous, by the way. Black and white. I like that. Case, I got to ask you
Gray
here.
and white. Gray and white. Gray.
Gray, white. Sorry. Got the color. My bad. Cal, we love you to pieces.
Hard to tell on the camera.
It's hard to tell on this camera. My camera's horrible. Case, final thoughts on Phantom Menace, and on a scale of 1 to 10, what are you going to give it?
Like, I very much enjoy this movie. I will watch it every year in my Star Wars marathon, but it's definitely not my favorite. It's got glaring issues, and I talked about some of those issues during the watch-along. But overall, I like it enough to, watch it, and I don't really have, like, if I just don't think about the issues too much, I have a good time with it. But I agree with Adina on a 6. It's a 6. It's, like, good enough,
Fair enough. But yeah, Brian, if you could clarify for us, does 4 stars mean out of 4 out of 5, or does that mean 4 out of 10? You got to be more specific than that, brother. Anyway.
I'm pretty sure it's 4 out of 5.
Well, hold on a second. He just clarified. 4 out of 10.
Never mind. Never mind.
Hold on a second. I need to read this. So Brian says, I give it a 4 out of 10, respectively. Weakest film of the entire series, in my humble opinion. I respect and honor those who think differently, though. Wow. Okay, man. You're digging it. You're digging the hole for this one. Okay, that's fine.
And we've talked about this on the Big Sci-Fi podcast before. I think episodes 2 and 3 are my I put them lower than this one. But yeah,
wow,
I think we've had this discussion before.
This is
what
rare.
What is people's issue with Revenge of the Sith?
Here's the thing. Adina and I. This is one of the few times where Adina and I are on the same exact page. So when it comes to this prequel trilogy, for everyone listening. So for me, as far as Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace goes, there are things about this film that I really like. Obviously, I have a newfound respect for the character of Qui-Gon Jinn after reading the book Master and Apprentice, written by Claudia Gray. It's my favorite Star Wars novel of all time at the moment, of the ones I've read so far. I still got to read a bunch of others. Don't get me wrong.
Like the High Republic.
Yeah, I am not. Listen. I respect what the High Republic is doing. I really do. But the fact that there are so many books that are interconnected in that series that I got to read, I'm just like, no. I see. This is the thing about me in books. I prefer standalone stories. I can't dig my heels into 15 footholes. I don't want to go deep down a deep rabbit hole of 15,000 books in the High Republic. It's too much work. Dina knows where I'm coming from. Anyway, so I like this movie for certain reasons. I like Qui-Gon. I like the relationship between Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. I like the pod race. That's cool. Good stuff. Good sound design, as our good friend Case pointed out earlier. And the lightsaber duel at the end is fantastic. It's my favorite lightsaber duel of the entire franchise. Is the 2-on-1 handicap match between 2 Jedi Knights and a Sith Lord. So because we had never seen that up to that point. So a lot of history was made during the course of this movie, whether it's behind the scenes or in front of the camera. So for me, I'm going to give it the same thing that Adina gave. I'm going to give it a 6. 6. I guess 6 is good. It's fine. It's enjoyable to a point, but it is my personal favorite of the entire prequel trilogy because 2 and 3 never happened. So that's my 2 cents. But if we want to talk overall prequels, Rogue One is the cream of the crop out of all of them, but that's just my 2 cents.
I don't consider Rogue One a prequel, though.
Well, whatever. Semantics. But Rogue One is solid. If anyone hasn't seen it, please.
It's great.
It's freaking amazing. It's a freaking awesome
difference
movie.
Just is that they clearly intended the prequel trilogy, the original trilogy, and the sequel trilogy, those 9 movies, a Skywalker saga.
That's a lot of saga.
That is, because everything else that came after, Rogue One, Solo, Mandalorian, everything is a spin-off. It takes place in the same galaxy, but it's about different characters.
True that.
I feel that Rogue One, it's about completely different characters. So that's why, you should see it as what they also said, an anthology.
Well, that's to a certain degree, yeah, that's very true. But those are my 2 cents on Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Not to get too far off the road here, but yeah, Rogue One is great. Go watch that freaking movie. It makes Episode 4, A New Hope, all the more important and emotional.
It's a movie about the Death Star.
It's freaking amazing. It's solid work.
And it has the best Darth Vader scene in it.
Oh my gosh, man.
Yeah.
It's one of those Vader scenes because you haven't seen Vader in a long time in cinema. That you're like, oh my god. Wait, this is actually bad. Let me calm down.
He's chopping people in half. He's ripping guys' throats
I should
out.
not be happy about this.
He's choking people to death, right? You remember that? Yeah, it happens. Rogue One: A Star Wars Story is streaming everywhere you find it. Anyway, so those are my 2 cents on Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to the person who may be watching or listening to this, and thank you to our panelists. This has been amazing. This has been incredible. It is Star Wars Day on May the 4th, and we did this to the best of our ability. I think we did a pretty darn good job. So if anyone's interested in learning more about these panelists, Case, where can the person watching or listening to this find out more about you and some of your content?
Well, actually, it turns out for me, it's already Revenge of the Fifth.
Yeah, well, for some of us who are on... Yeah, he lives in the future, further in the future.
Yeah, European time zones and everything. But you can follow me, the Dutch Star Wars guy on YouTube, where I usually do reviews as quickly as I can. This week, I have not been able to do it yet because, honestly, I have been not feeling well since Tuesday. This is the most energetic that I've felt this week to do anything in terms of video. So my Bad Batch review for the final episode is coming. Believe me, it's going to come. Also, my reviews for Tales of the Empire are going to come very soon, which I already saw the first 2 episodes. I love them. I cannot wait to review them and talk to people about that. So that's fun. And yeah, The Acolyte is actually coming in 1 month. And we are all excited for it. I'm definitely excited for it. So look out for the reviews in a month's time. That's about that. You can follow me on Letterboxd for other movies, Case247, Case spelled this way. And on Twitter, you can follow me at DutchSW guy. There we go.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for being here, kind sir. Do really appreciate you. Future New York Times best-selling writer and author Adina Mignona, the owner of so many plushies. It's insane. If somebody wants to know more about you, that's right, Grogu, this is the way. If somebody wants to know more about you and some of the great things that you're doing over there, whether it's your podcasting or your writing, where can they find you?
Okay, well, my website is adinam.com, and pretty much from there you can find everything, which include my books, the 4-book Robot Galaxy series, which I'm still writing more in that universe, my standalone novel Lunar Logic, which will get turned into a trilogy, and which Bruce Horak from Strange New Worlds is narrating the audiobook, which will be available soon. And also, wherever podcasts are, you can find the Big Sci-Fi Podcast, where me and Brian, Chris, and Steve, we talk about a lot of Star Trek, but all things science fiction. And we will be at Trek Long Island at the end of May.
That's exciting stuff. Congratulations to you and your team over there. We wish you nothing but success. And we look forward to having you here on again. Maybe you'll join us on the Nerdy Cantina and talk about The Acolyte.
Yeah.
On Disney Plus. Who knows? And you can bring your plushies along with you. Plushies are included in this special. Yay! Everybody wins. BB-8. Exactly. We hear you. Jen, my good friend Jen, and my esteemed colleague on these panels. If someone wants to know more about you and the great stuff that you're doing over there, where can they find you?
You can follow me on my Instagram and I have 2 Instagram accounts at Jen Erminia Gadaski and at rocking_your_bald. That is my podcast called Rocking Your Bald. As Ryan said earlier, I dropped my special Star Wars episode today for May the 4th. Make sure you check that out. Available on your favorite podcasting listening choice, whether it's Apple, Spotify, or Google, whatever, it's there. I do have other stuff coming down the pipe later on this year, so just make sure you keep following me on there because you will see those announcements really soon.
Excelente. Awesomissimo, man. That's fantastic. Congratulations to you and everything you're doing over there. And your podcast has done an excellent job of showing their love for Star Wars. So well done. We appreciate you. My name is Ryan of And I Quote Channel. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at RyanRPM5. And you can also follow us across all forms of social media simply at And I Quote Channel. So many things are coming your way very soon. Goodness gracious, where do we even start? Movie watch-alongs are coming your way very soon. We got great merch. We got shirts. We got hoodies. We got stickers. Links are down in the description or in our social media bios. Also, if you're curious, hey, that movie was fun. What do you guys got coming up soon? Here's what we got. We got The Mummy. Brendan Fraser's The Mummy turns 25 on May the 11th. And then the week after that, Sean Connery and Catherine Zeta-Jones heist film known as Entrapment turns 25 on May the 18th. So join us, why don't you? Those presentations are going to be held at 7 p.m. Eastern time. That's going to be a blast. Tell me about it. We're going to be at Fan Expo Philadelphia tomorrow on May the 5th, also known as Revenge of the 5th, if you're a Star Wars fan. So join us, take pictures. We'll sign your programs, whatever. Don't worry, it's for free. We don't charge around here. We're going to be at Geekdom Con at the end of May in Oaks, Pennsylvania, May 24th through the 26th. And then in July, I believe that's where Adina, myself, and a whole bunch of other fans met at Shore Leave. It's going to be Shore Leave 44, which is going to be held in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. They've moved it to a new place, new location, July 26th through the 28th. Join us there. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be a lot of fun. And yes, you can talk about Star Wars and Star Trek in the same sentence. All right? You can like both. It's fine. I like TNG, and I also like Force Awakens. Does that bother you? I hope it doesn't, because it's a lot of fun to celebrate your fandoms. Once again, thank you so much for being here. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Ring that bell to be notified of when our new videos go up or they go live. Happy 25th anniversary to the entire cast and crew of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Happy Star Wars Day to you. May the 4th be with you. And remember, the Force will be with you always.
There's so many. Has anyone been to them all?
Not likely.
I want to be the first one to see them all.
Truly wonderful the mind of a child is.
Come on. When you find people who need your help, you help them. No matter what.
We have hope. Hope that things can get better. And they will.
Stand up together. Because that's when we're strongest. As one.
You won't be going alone. You'll have a friend with you.
No. I'll have a Jedi with me.
You might want to buckle up, baby.
Rise
in the Force.
Take care of us, little one.
It'll take care of you. We had each other. That's how we won.
Force is strong in my family.
Its energy surrounds us and binds us.
What is it they've sent us?
Hope.